I see you are in the beginning parts of this chapter. Or should I call you
see.
Caribou?
Wait, what? Is Caribou at the beginning? Oh, I was looking at the
Yeah.
ships. You skipped the panel.
Yeah, I skipped
I
the panel.
see
Sorry about that.
you're
Sorry
in
about
the
that.
first panel. You are busting this call. Ah.
You know what? Actually, funny enough, I got this thing right here. I got a
Oh, you got the
I got an
golden.
ammonite. It's an
Oh,
ammonite, not a snail. It's not exactly the same as the One Piece Buster Call snail, but it's close enough. I
wait, how
really
much
like it. It's just like $10.
Oh shit! Wait,
Yeah,
did
it's
I
not
buy it
bad.
online?
Yeah, I bought it online.
Ooh, wait, send me a link because I've been looking for the gold Denden Mushi, but it's hard to get. Maybe I just settle with the
Yeah,
almond.
settle with the Pokemon version. There
Just
you
with
go.
a button on the top, just
Yeah.
there we go, same thing.
So first panel though, Buster Call is going crazy.
Yeah,
It is
dude.
an absolute barrage here on Egghead Island. I don't know how
My
anybody's alive.
my question is, who is saying the Gia? Is it the ships? Is it the people on the ships? Is it the pacifistas? Who's saying the
The
Gia?
Gia?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's Luffy, right? This Buster Call is taking
Uh
down the Yonko Luffy.
yeah. Remember how I keep bringing up that like there's a few people, but there's one specific commenter is like you're underestimating the weight of the cannonballs. Now I know they're completely memeing because then this week they were one of the first commenters on my stream and they're like, I think you're underestimating the sound, how loud a cannonball fire is. With the
Yeah,
sound of a
you're definitely
thousand
getting memed on.
the 1,000 cannonballs
Nobody's
firing
hyping up this Buster Call, bro.
would make everybody go deaf, and I'm like, all right, now I get it. Now
Like,
I
I
appreciate
think we
you.
brought it up last week, but like the one person defending it was like, hey, like Buster Calls are only not scary because it's Luffy and he's a Yonko. And it's like, yeah, that's the point. Like,
Yeah.
of course. Like we
But
wouldn't
now they're
survive a
not.
Buster Call, but
Now they're not
Luffy
scared to the
can.
giants. Now they're not scared of the giants, and not scary to probably more. Like, you know what I mean? Like these giants, some of them it's their first time seeing a Buster Call, and I'm pretty sure they're laughing at it now. You
I
know?
feel like any crew with a bounty over 1 billion would not be afraid of a Buster Call.
Wait, do the giants have a bounty over 1 billion?
I mean, no,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if they got a bounty over 1 billion after this.
Yeah.
And plus, their bounty has been frozen for like 100 years too, right?
That's true. Oh, inflation. We have to inflate.
Yeah,
The,
a
yeah,
hundred
yeah, yeah.
years of by having a frozen bounty. Like I feel like by this point they might have 1 billion.
Yeah, they might be Roger level. They might be 5 billion. They're the lurking
5
legends, right?
billion. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
like
giants are the lurking legend. They've been lurking on Little Garden for 100 years.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
crazy.
I mean, it is like at least they told us that like nobody really left that island alive, kind of. They said
Yeah,
it was a log
except for
post.
Mister Three. Mister Three's a exception.
Well, like before them,
Yeah,
before
but
the current.
before Mister Three's slaughter on Little
Yeah,
Garden,
yeah. How did Mr. Three lose? He lost to Luffy, right?
he lost to Luffy. Yeah.
In like the
Otherwise, his
forest.
plan would have gone through.
But the Luffy like punch him like Team Rocket, like he just blasted off like to random place on the island, or like how did that happen? I'm forgetting.
Luffy didn't blast him off. Luffy beat him pretty badly, and he was still on the island, and then he left in pursuit of Luffy. Yeah,
Damn.
it's like kind of weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, also, was Mr. Three on the island? Was he going back and forth, or was he there? Like, was he like Cypher Pole on Water 7? Was he like undercover figuring out? I'm forgetting Mr. Three's arc at
So
the
Mr.
start.
Three was there undercover. He was
For,
there
like,
before the Straw Hats got there.
Okay. Because my thing was like, technically, would he be able to leave with the Island Eater there? Maybe he was just like stuck, like he couldn't leave anyways.
Yeah, who would win? Mr. Three, the Island Eater of Little Garden, the giant goldfish.
They needed the Hokoku sovereignty to get them out. That
Yeah.
Island Eater was huge.
It was big. I mean, Mr. Three's so weird when you really think about him, because like giants are Mr. Three victims right now.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of strange because it's like, dang, his wax really held down a giant. Like, I don't know. But also Mr. Three isn't that strong though. Like
Yeah.
he shouldn't have been able to do that at that time, but it is what it is. I wish Mr. Three kept on training to where he would be a menace. Like maybe like we do look at Mr. Three nowadays and we're like, yo, like this guy's he's crazy. He's like the threat of Elbaf. He's
Mr. Three
Elbaf's giant villain.
has like the Usopp build, or in another way to look at it is like the rubber hose kind of arms. Same
Yeah,
thing with
yeah,
Bond.
yeah.
Like
Really
Bond had it
lanky.
too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mr. Three.
Damn, he had so much potential, man.
Now that you think about it, Mr. Three was like the good timeline Usopp in Baroque Works.
Maybe I wouldn't call him good timeline, but yeah, I see what you mean.
Like good timeline of like Usopp in the because like Usopp at Little Garden couldn't beat the Giants, right? Or maybe with prep time, in
I
the
don't think
Devil.
Usopp could have beaten the Giants.
Damn. All right, never mind.
Yeah,
You mean his masters? Sorry.
his masters. Oh man, his masters. That's a funny line.
Yeah.
So with Caribou though,
Yeah.
he's trying to convince Van Auger and Devon to take him with them.
Yeah.
And they need a little bit of convincing, which I think is kind of cool, right? Like, I don't know, coming off of last chapter, I really did just think that they would just take him. Like, hey, why not? Let's go. But they're very cautious. They're like, yo, people are after Teach's life. We can't just take you to the captain. And it's like, wow, these guys are thinking. I love that.
Yeah, I like that they're thorough, but also like contextually, it doesn't really make sense given like how oppressively powerful, especially Van Auger.
Oh yeah, yeah,
decided
yeah.
on
Like
Bart,
all of these guys can mop the floor with Caribou, so it doesn't really matter. But it's one of those things like you never know what he's gonna pull out in that swamp, dude.
Yeah, I appreciate the thoroughness, but again, like the contextual, I was like and so like the result of this, I feel is like they're just gonna take him, right? Because like there's no reason for them not to be able to handle
Yeah.
Caribou, so they should be able to take him. If Caribou should be a competent character, but he's beaten by Peckhams, right? So like I doubt he got a hockey bloom or growth since then to the point that Van Auger and Devon couldn't take him. And so
It's
like
not gonna be an
ultimately,
extreme diff fight.
yeah, yeah, and then also one of my viewers actually pointed out that this was the mystery person being Blackbeard was something that I predicted a long time. Remember that the Caribou video that I guess someone from the video went to the Caribou video and watched my Caribou video because we didn't cover the last page last time because we had to get cut off. So they went
Yeah.
and watched it and they're like, "Hey, you got the Blackbeard thing right." And I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, it's in the first 2 minutes." So I forgot that because I didn't even consider it a theory. It was just a process of elimination. And I
Yeah.
was like, Blackbeard just makes the most sense. And
I feel like that's where everybody was too.
it was like
it was
well,
either
no, a
Blackbeard
lot
or
of people
Crocodile.
at the time thought that if Caribou was that, it was the 10 Titanic Commander because we didn't know the Kuzan.
That was a wild one, yeah.
Yeah, so like that's where and the reason I agree with you as far as like the people who did think about Caribou would reasonably get there. That's why I didn't think of anything much of it. But the problem was there was a weird separation. When I made that Caribou video, a lot of people hated it. They were like, "Why are you talking about Caribou? He's the most useless character." And this is before the Pluton stuff in Wano. This is like right after chapter 2021 when he fed Luffy. It was around then. So like they're like, "No, he's not going to join the ship." And all this stuff. So people either hated Caribou, didn't know he exists, forgot about him, not just didn't know he existed. That's a separation. And then if they did know about him and they thought it was a Blackbeard thing, they were in the 10th Titanic Commander option list. And then when we got the Road to Laugh-Tale, I think a lot more people thought
Started
about that
jumping
too.
on that boat.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why I was like, the Blackbeard thing was a little interesting. And I think a lot of people in that, because I precogged it and I was like, it's not the revs, guys. And I think some people are like, is it the revs? And I was like, no, that doesn't
It's
even
not
make
the
sense.
revs.
Yeah, it doesn't even make sense, guys. And so like right after the Blackbeard thing, I was like, a weird one would be Dragon, but that doesn't make sense. And still people are like, I think it's Dragon. I'm like, no. And then Man Marked by Flames. They included Caribou in that. Like, oh, maybe he has the red poneglyph. I'm like, no, it's
That'll be
Blackbeard,
nuts
guys.
too. It's in his swamp.
Yeah, yeah. But so
I
like
remember reading One Piece Weekly back in Fishman Island when he first mentioned that man. And
yeah.
at the time, like, people just rallied behind the Blackbeard idea.
Ooh. How
Like,
long ago is Fishing Island?
I don't know, like 10 years?
Is it 10 years or is it like 14 years?
It might have been, yeah, it might have been longer.
Yeah, like some
Yeah, it
kids
was a long
that are
time ago.
some of our viewers weren't born yet. No.
That's wild. That's wild to say.
Oh God, we
But
do.
yeah,
Our demographics reflect that. Yeah, some kids
I
were
feel like
born.
that's kind of how it is. Like people just rally around one idea for so long, and then
Yeah,
after time progresses,
it,
you kind of get bored of that one option, so you start adding
yeah.
more into the pot, like Dragon,
That's what happened with
Shanks,
Kuzan.
even.
That's what
Yeah,
happened with
yeah. Same
Kuzan.
with
Because
Kuzan.
if you just stuck with what was in Dressrosa, that like he was on the phone or whatever, right after, like at the beginning of Dressrosa, it was the him fighting Doflamingo, blah blah. We don't know where he's at, but then in Dressrosa, he's on call, like they're talking. The Blackbeard Pirates are talking about him. So then it's like, yeah, it's he's the 10th Titanic Commander. But then over time, I think Oda did a different job there where he made it more confusing. He even asked the question to us in the Road to Laughtail, a different vein than the Caribou situation. But the reason why Caribou had this a similar reception is not because he's as cool as Kuzan and the Oda threw in a lot of confusion. It's because people just didn't like Caribou and hate Caribou and
No, I thought
forgot about
Caribou was
him.
so cool, man. He was the
Hey,
first character in One Piece that had a machine gun. Come on, it's big.
was he?
Yeah, he was. I looked it up recently, and I was like, "That's my fun fact with Caribou. He's the only, or not only, he's the first character with a machine gun."
There had to have been a Marine with a machine gun
No,
style.
nope.
No
Caribou.
way.
Caribou is the first character. He
Maybe
whipped it
in
out of his swamp fruit. He tried to attack Peckham's, and then he got one shot.
all right. See, that's the benefit of me being anime only prior. There had to be a filler character with a machine gun. There's
No,
no
no
shot.
filler character with a machine gun,
You
dude.
didn't check the filler.
Dude,
No
how do you know?
shot.
Look it up. Look it up. You have Google, man.
Oh yeah, yeah. We have Google. Remember last week when you couldn't find the person who names who was it? The epithets, and
I
you're
wasn't
like,
trying to look, dude.
yeah,
I
you
was
weren't trying to
looking
look.
I was looking
You
with my eyes closed.
your literal on record quote was
I
like,
was
"How'd you
looking with
find
my
it so
eyes
fast,
closed.
Par? How are you so good
But
at
here's
the
the thing with
internet?"
Caribou. So Par, since you're in this chapter, are you gonna tell Blackbeard about are you gonna tell Blackbeard about the ancient weapons? That's what it looks like
Um,
here, man. He's gonna divulge all the information, all the sloppy info.
yeah, I feel like I feel like it's a. I'm confused about what happens here because there's
Yeah.
like two things that I'm thinking about where it's like, you know how like we've been saying, like the Blackbeard Pirates are super thorough, they're super efficient, their crew dynamics seem pretty fine, like they're very like a well-oiled machine, they're all over, they're coordinating, and even like the crew holding it down on Hachinosu in most regards, right? Garp showed up, and the I'm not gonna say the weaker half, yeah, Shiryu was there, so that's like the Zoro equivalent, but like let's say like, you know, Zoro, and then like, yeah, like let's say it's like maybe not now, but like Zoro is having to protect like the latter half of the Straw Hats against Akainu. I don't know how that goes down, but like, hey, the Blackbeard Pirates kind of achieved a great thing without their captain, and their captain like gave them a few orders and their own independent mission. They were able to do it. Yeah, the Straw Hats, you know, dress Rosa here and there, but I don't think there's been an equivalent where they've had to face a Garp. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
kind of next level, right? And obviously they had a kind Kuzan there that changes things. But my point being that like one of Caribou's things was when he joined the Straw Hats in Fishman Island on Trek, was like, what is this crew? How do they operate? What is happening? Why are they so? They don't even know how to get down there. Like he had to tell them about the Simu thing to use that as a chariot, sort of way, and all that jazz. And so like he had to help them. They weren't very organized. And then the three main guys were insanely strong, right? He saw Zoro, Sanji, Luffy, all that, and he was really like, he was like terrified of them at that point. But then later on, he found out like Luffy was treating him really well, all the way up into Wano. It's like, oh my god, wait, this guy treats me well. Yet
Luffy's awesome.
yet he's like the Barto for the Blackbeard Pirates, and so does it turn out that like he meets his heroes and he's disappointed and he likes Luffy more, or does he go to the Blackbeard Pirates and he's impressed? But I feel
I
like
think he's impressed.
I feel like, yeah, it would make sense that he's impressed, but I feel like the shonen trope is that he goes there, yeah, maybe he likes it, but maybe Blackbeard and them don't treat him well. like the way
like a
Luffy
Bellamy situation.
sword me like you're saying Bellamy and Doflamingo, like that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Maybe, but like, but then I'm looking at the way Blackbeard treats his own crew. It's not that bad, right?
I don't
Like,
think Blackbeard treats his crew bad at all.
yeah, so
And I
that's
feel
why
like
I'm
with
confused.
Caribou, he said that Blackbeard is a reason why he became a pirate. Like I feel like he knows what he's walking into with Blackbeard as his role model. Like when you
Yeah.
really think about it, Caribou is the Marine killer. He had no problems just killing Marines.
But like to be fair, right? Like with Barto, for example, we got shown so many times where it's like there were various moments where the Straw Hats could have disappointed him. You know what I mean? He went in
Yeah.
there with high expectations, but it's like when you meet them, it's like, oh, I met my heroes and they went above and beyond, right? And it's like, the whole thing was like you don't meet your heroes because they disappoint you, blah blah blah. And that's like the Bellamy situation where the closer Bellamy got to Doflamingo, the more disappointed he was in himself, right? So Oda has that within the story. So like which way does Oda go with Caribou? It feels like he's gonna go the Barto Luffy way, but
Yeah.
it's also in my opinion going against like the the trope with Luffy and the shonen trope where it's like this sort of antagonist goes to the opposition side, and the trope would be that like, hey, he likes the main character more. When the main character comes back, then he's like, oh, like, whatever, and like Luffy would take him, treat him the same way in Udon, right? Like I don't think that Luffy would like look at him on the Blackbeard Pirates any differently than he did in Udon, where it's like if Caribou's helping and being whatever, then he would, do whatever. So
Accept
I
him.
feel, yeah. So I feel like the one thing that Barto went out of line, right? Like he went against Shanks, and that's like Luffy's mentor, right? So if the parallel were to continue to go on, then maybe that's how the Caribou stuff goes down. Like maybe he does something against Blackbeard's desire, not knowing that, like, hey, like that's not what Blackbeard would want. Like for example, Blackbeard wants to become like, yes, I know that his end goal is probably something wildly different, but as far as his plan that he told us, there's a stepping stone, there's a process similar to pre-time skip. There was Warlord to betraying them, then to Yonko, all that stuff, right? So in the same scope, he wants to become on the world government side. That's why he got Kobe, and now he has Garp, and he's trying to get the thing. So like maybe Caribou does something that's against that kind of planning that
Maybe.
on the side. And like you said, Caribou is a marine killer, right? So maybe Caribou like sees a marine and just starts killing
Yeah.
them.
Imagine Caribou goes to Hachinosu, just kills Garp.
Yeah, like some
That'd be hilarious.
Garp would be crazy, but like
Yeah, Garp would be crazy. Like he's like, oh, Marine, I gotta get rid of this guy.
yeah, like or like he's operating, and then so like instead of taking hostages, he kills a bunch of Marines, which like I'm sure the Blackbeard Pirates aren't opposed to killing a bunch of Marines, but I'm just putting a hypothetical as like there might be some prerogative that Blackbeard's trying to get, like the well-oiled machine that we're seeing out of Van Auger and the rest of the crew that Caribou doesn't follow, and maybe that's where the issue is.
I mean,
Whereas
yeah,
like
that's fine.
Luffy is not a well-oiled machine, so Caribou kind of like worked out with that, you know what I mean? And so
I feel like
it is
that makes
interesting.
sense, but that doesn't like negate the notion that Caribou could just like straight up tell them like, hey, by the way, ancient weapons though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The ancient weapons part.
As far as like Caribou being accepted by Blackbeard or not, I feel like that's besides the point because I feel like no matter where he goes, he's gonna be a loser in a way.
Mhm.
Like even if he were to join Blackbeard, I don't think it would make that big of a difference in
Yeah,
terms of like a combative strength.
I think the biggest reason why I would like him to tell Blackbeard as opposed to not, because like
Yeah,
you said, like I think for the overall story, it doesn't really matter because Blackbeard's going to get that information like anyways. You know what I mean? Like one way or another, that's just kind of how the story would go. Like there's gonna be somehow he gets it. Pudding like could be a way he gets it. There's Moria could be, oh, somehow he gets that information. I don't know, like random different places he gets it, right? Um but with your idea that Devon like masquerades as Luffy, if or masquerades as someone, you know what I mean, and then goes to Fishman Island and gets Shirahoshi and something like that, burns it down or something like that, and that I would like that idea if
yeah.
they
Dang,
split
you
up.
already I was gonna
That
make a
would,
video about that actually.
yeah. So like if
Yeah,
they did that,
Devon just going up to Fishman Island and stealing Shirahoshi as Luffy. That would be big.
yeah, because we still don't know who transported Luffy, got him the food. If you're saying the warp fruit is there and someone who can disguise himself and all they need to do is touch Luffy, boom. And then
It's over.
if you get the info that there's now weapons on those places and you know that Luffy has just been there, boom, you have the perfect person to get there. He's literally the hero in both places. And it's the way to villainize him. And that's also I don't know, you probably wouldn't include this in your video, but like if you want to extend this to the Void Sentry stuff, like there's a huge theory that there's some kind of betrayal that lines with the Mane Mane no Mi or these disguising things, which we saw in Alabasta with Bon Clay disguising himself as King Cobra. We saw this in Wano with Higurashi using it as the king, the Sukiyaki. Man, he
Yeah.
doesn't deserve to be named, but that guy, Odin's dad. And then a Momo, you know what I mean? Like transforming into Momo to fool Odin, right? So like this power, a lot of people have the idea that in the Void Century, there's some kind of parallel, probably with Joy Boy. The apology letter maybe is related to that. Now you run it back with Fisherman Island and Wano again. Then you could explain why they're closed off, why they're away, why they have the ancient weapons where they are, you know, all these things. So I can definitely see that. I definitely like that pathway, and expands the world again. It definitely
Do you
brings us
think
out.
we would revisit Fishman Island and or Wano?
Mm,
Or do you think we're just gonna hear about how Blackbeard ransacked him?
in hindsight, and you know what? You know what? Actually,
Yeah.
Caribou is more valuable than just the information. He's probably going to lead the charge on both because he's been to both places. He's been into the royal castle. He's almost already had Shirahoshi. He
Oh
knows what
yeah.
she looks like. Oh, well, they all know what Shirahoshi looks like. He just needs to see the princess, right? But then with the Wano thing, he knows how to get to the underground place because he heard it. He was basically there. So like Caribou would not only just give the information, but he might elevate in its excessively by leading the charge. And so we might get a Caribou, like if we were to jump places, it would be Caribou centered. Oh man, that'd be kind of interesting.
I feel like Blackbeard would go with Caribou, but yeah, I see what you mean. Like he'd point them the direction.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's go down here. Let's get this girl. Let's get that one.
Yeah. Like, well, he'd be their tour guide.
Yeah, just like a
Yeah.
tour guide.
Yeah. But the other thing is Caribou is really competent. Like outside of the
Oh yeah.
Yonko, right? Like outside of Luffy and whatever, he
Like
is
put Caribou pre-time skip, he would be a menace.
not even pre-time skip in Udon. He went through all the headliners there. I think Queen was also there too, and he diffused all of their communication, stole the Denden Mushi, and he's literally the reason why they were able to facilitate their escape. And he did that all without anybody noticing. And
Yeah,
there's
he's a
significant
good
people there.
support character.
Yeah, like he is actually kind of, had Luffy not been on Fishman Island, like, or left early, Caribou would have ran through all of them. Like, I don't know, right? All their competent fighters were imprisoned, and then the princes were injured. He would have had the mermaids and Shirahoshi,
Yeah,
honestly.
he would have been done.
Yeah, if Peckham's wasn't there either, like Big Mom technically did protect the people, you
He's
know?
just one of those characters where like he looks bad when compared to high tier characters.
Like
That's
a
why I
Buster.
say like in the Blackbeard crew he's not going to be like a big combative strength because like you have him against like Kuzan, Van Augur, Devon, and them. But like by himself, like pre-time skipper in those scenarios that you mentioned, yeah, Caribou is massive.
Yeah,
He's
he's
even
like,
a reason why Luffy was able to beat Kaido. I would say. I mean,
yeah,
hey, he gave him food. Yeah, like
yeah,
food is huge.
yeah, and
Big stat boost.
there's oh my god, now that I'm thinking about it, because I wasn't even like, the video I made on Caribou was so long ago that, like, obviously I like the theory. I like the theories that were in that package because I made a Robin theory. That's my Shadows theory. This preface the Shadows theory. But this if like even a portion of that is right, then his devil fruit is really important for Blackbeard then, because that was what that entire video was about, is that his devil fruit is really weird, and he before Nika was and they told us that mythical or Zoans have a will. He was the first character that personified his fruit. In chapter 1021, he said that my fruit is like, the translation says about a bottomless gal or something, or a girl with like a bottomless stomach or something like that. And then obviously the raw Japanese would be like, it's something with a bottomless pit, someone like an entity, and it gave it a
Yeah.
will. And so then that theory was essentially saying like maybe Caribou is more than we think, because he's also the only Logia that has like a like Blackbeard has the black hole storage, but it's not like an it's like it's his thing is gravity, so he sucks things in and crushes them, right? Whereas Caribou has an infinite like time capsule storage thing that just kind of makes no sense, because like that's not how swamps work, but that's also not how meat works. He just three
It's that
month old meat.
imagination, man.
And so then you got to ask yourself like, wait, hold on, if Luffy's fruit is super, like there was these intricate details that if you paid attention to, you could have predicted a weirder like future for what his fruit ended up being, whether you were spot on or not. Yeah, I put a lot of stock into like, hey, there's these certain characters that surrounded Luffy, uh and ironically, the two characters, Robin and Caribou, both had their, Robin got the demonial form in that same chapter, and so that was something that I had to fight people on. People didn't think that that was like actually like Robin and stuff, but like now after the anime did it, it's like, yeah, that's what I've been saying. It's like this is like a Robin form. Like she got new eyes and she had like weird manifestation or whatever. The same chapter, Oda personified Caribou's fruit there, and so it's in the same chapter prefacing Luffy's thing. Gave Robin the same eyes as Luffy in the just before that, and now in this chapter 2, where we're bringing back the focus on eyes. So I wonder if not, there's a lot more to Caribou, and I wasn't even willing to give it all that. I thought it was just the thing, but maybe it's fruit also. And then there's also
He's a
a weird
descendant of
connection.
Rocks.
There's that weird connection. I was just about to bring
Yeah.
up is not even rocks, but like that whole his the cover story where Drake, we find out Drake in the Beast Pirates, and Caribou, how he gets to Udon, which is weird that Drake arrested him, not as a oh no, wait, now I remember. Caribou beat Scotch. Scotch was the guy defending this island that Kaido really liked, and Caribou actually beat one of Kaido's trusted commanders. Not like like we don't know Toby Ropo or whatever, but like it did say that he was one of Kaido's most trusted people, and his name was Scotch. And Caribou beat him, and then Drake came in and brought him to Udon. When we know Drake isn't sword, so he could have just arrested him and took him to prison, but instead he's like, no, you're gonna get subjugated by Kaido now. But in that thing, we see that Caribou is like the spitting image of a revolutionary. So that's another interesting thing that Oda did. He looks just like I forgot what the guy's name was, but people say that he looks like Dragon and Rock. So who knows? Who knows?
Something's going on with Caribou.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot
I'm
there.
interested to see how he develops. I would love if he had like a bigger role to play. I mean,
think
he's already playing a big role, but if he plays a bigger role than even just bringing up the ancient weapons to Blackbeard, that would be massive. I love it when like characters like Caribou get that role. I just hope he does. So we go on a little bit and we see that the Buster Call is in full effect still. It's going crazy, but the pacifistas are just a little bit better than the Buster Call, right? Weird how that happens. The bubble shields are blocking the cannonballs, and we get introduced to the VAs, bro. We get the goats here. We got Bluegrass, who is being reintroduced. We got Hound, Guillotine, Doberman, Urban, Tosa. I'm just going to go name all of them. I believe we also have Pomsky, and that's it. We also have Red King and Doll, but they don't get reintroduced here because we already know them. But yeah, these VAs are here. They're all shining a little bit. One thing I wish we got was their devil fruits.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be really cool if Oda just threw in like what they had, because they did that for Bluegrass. But granted, Bluegrass, she was using it at the time we saw it. But yeah, I don't know. I think it would be nice to see. Yeah, I think it would have been nice to see.
If they have it, they might not have it. But this
Yeah.
hound looking dude, he looks like that one vampire thing that Oda made non-canonically. That Redfield, I think it was his name or something like that.
Yeah, from the
Yeah,
One Piece video game.
yeah, he looks a little bit like it.
A
Maybe
little
he's
bit.
from, maybe he's a descendant of
I thought he was Kadar. Maybe he
Kadar.
is still Kadar.
Kadar.
Yeah, there's a One Piece Marine named Kadar,
Mm.
and I thought it was him because it kind of looks like him once we got the like images of him like pre-time skip.
Hmm.
So I thought that was him like right there, but it turns out it's not.
Mm.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Kind of
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
I thought he just got a crazy glow up, but no, brand new character, man.
Yeah, and I remember because on stream, I hit you with the pattern thing because you didn't because of the new chapter release schedule. When you come to the live stream, if you're able to, which we don't know how the schedule's gonna get slated out later on, but you didn't have a lot of time to sit with the chapter, and I got to hit you with the new info that they're all dog names, and one of the questions was like how like normal are these names? And so afterwards, I talked to one of my best friends who has a dog, and I was just like, how are if like I asked her, I was like, if dog was a category in Jeopardy, would you choose that category? Like you think you're like good at it, you'd be able to get it. She's like, no. But then I was like, all right, fine, okay. Now let me ask you. I'm gonna say a bunch of words and tell me if they are related to dogs. And I hit her with them, and she said yes to every single one except for obviously I didn't do like doll because it's like the collar, the dog
Yeah.
collar is supposed to be that. But Red King was the one that she was like, maybe, but like and then she didn't know that the Doberman. I still don't know if Red King is referring to the Doberman thing, the Red King Doberman. But yeah, she even got the bluegrass and the guillotine. So I was like, damn, I guess dog owners are leg up on this chapter.
Yeah, yeah. The VA or Vice Admiral dogs are here.
Yeah, yeah, the marine dogs, the lap dogs of Akainu here,
They're
right?
pretty cool, man. I wish we
Yeah.
got more out of them. Like I don't know. Like as silly as it sounds, I wish we had some more like VA feats like Tosa.
So, like, once the Buster Call is in action,
Yeah.
they're not going to step foot on the island, right? That's why the pacifistas are so oppressive to them, is because they personally can't deal with the pacifistas because they don't want to be victim to their own Buster Call, right? That's kind of understanding, because reasonably they can one tap the pacifistas, like Doll one kicked the pacifista and it blew up, right?
Yeah, they don't want to destroy the pacifista is the main thing.
True, 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 true. They're also trying to
Yeah.
do that. Yeah. So why didn't they think about that at the start, right? Like because the pacifistas were on their side, and then once they turned, then they were like, okay, we're Buster calling it. But then Saturn called the Buster call, right? It was or his protocol because Celestial
So
Dragon got hit.
so they
Can you walk me
started
through it as a
yeah.
you know the Navy better than I do. I'm pretty.
Oh my god.
noobish here.
I mean, well, the way it worked was they had the pacifistas guarding the coast.
Mhm.
It looked like they were going to destroy them anyways, but it looks like they might have just gone back for them after the Buster Call was finished, I guess.
Uh-huh.
But it looks like they never wanted to actually destroy them because they're like, hey, like, we should focus on getting the pacifista back on our side. It sucks that we have to destroy our own weapons. So
Right.
that's kind of why, like, they want to call off the Buster Call for now.
So and then my other part is that they
Yeah.
have the synthesis of like we have to kill Julie Bonnie. So like, does that mean that they are gonna go onto the island to get the pacifistas? So like, are they actually halting the Buster Call, or because it's just one guy who said like,
Yeah, it's just one guy. I don't know if they're actually going to call it off.
yeah, because I thought
But I
that
mean,
was
after that, we don't
interesting.
see any more cannonballs. So maybe they did. Maybe they
Maybe
did.
they did. Yeah,
They can't exactly like call Kizaru or Saturn right now, right?
yeah,
They can't like
Yeah.
ask for their input. So maybe they do call off the Buster Call and they go on the island to find Bonnie and kill her.
yeah. That would be.
But I
Hey,
don't know. At this point, I'm just like, might as well just get rid of the pacifista. Like just fight him, you know?
depends how expensive though. Like, what if one pacifista is like 5 of these battleships?
Yeah, because they're Mark threes. I mean, that's fair, but
Then that's more because all right, let's even do.
but it
'Cause it's
hinders their
50.
mission, though. I don't know. Like, I understand the mindset. It's kind of a tricky one, right? Like, do you destroy your own weapons that are incredibly expensive, or do you just go for the quick W and just destroy all the past Vista and then go for Bonnie or whoever else?
Yeah, but then there's also the nuance that the Giants are here, so like, and we don't think that the Vice Admirals
Yeah,
can beat all the
and
Giants. So.
no, dude. Especially when we see Tosa, right? Tosa, great showing, by the way. I love the Tosa page. Like, no joke, one of my favorite pages out of this chapter. The Tosa page was awesome. He comes in and he's like, yo, roger that. I'm hot on their heels. And then he has like the 10-finger Shigan going on. And I thought that was so cool.
Wait, I didn't even realize this. What part did he hit Tosa with?
Oh, we don't ask that question. It looks like he just like splattered him like a bug, right? With the axe.
Yeah, it looks like he's disembodied a little bit. Like, it looks like Tosa might be out of the story.
Yeah. Will we see Tosa again? I don't know. But I'm looking forward to that 10-finger Shigan, though.
Yeah, that's why I was asking, because they don't give us a good scope of which Vice Admirals are on the island and which ones aren't. But we know that Tosa was there. And like, I guess Doberman might be there. I'm not sure, but like, we don't know. And then we see this happen to Tosa, and I'm like, yeah, there's no shot. Like, they can't do with the thing. And like, I don't even know if he's alive still. Like, maybe he got introduced just to be killed. Like,
yeah, just slap with an axe. No hockey, no lightning, no nothing. Just boom. There goes Tosa, man.
It's like, this might be this is like, you know how like people say, like, I'm not people, but Oda says like Luffy doesn't kill anybody, and then there's that one guy in Onigashima where like that Luffy got pissed off on, and he pinhead Larry'd him into the ground with like gear 4 or something like that, or gear 3, and it's like, yeah, no, that guy's definitely not alive. You know what I mean? Like that guy's
it's
dead.
like the Batman thing, right? Like, Batman throws people off buildings, but they survive. They survive.
Yeah.
No biggie.
Like,
they're just crippled.
This definitely does not lead to an alive Tosa, but
I think he's alive. So the way I see it is, I think Bragi hit him with like the side of the axe. I don't think he's actually like cut in half.
That's such a funny. So then he didn't even. That's like Zoro. Like when who was it? Which fight was it? Where like Zoro said like, "Oh, I'm not killing them. Like, I'm using the
Water
back
7.
of my sword." Yeah. So use the back of. That's like Brogy was just like,
I'm using the side of my axe. Don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry, guys. It's still PG. This is still One Piece. There's no blood splatter, you know? Oh my god.
It would be cool if Tosa did get cut in half, though. I think that would have been awesome.
Yeah. We see, so and then to make matters worse, it's not that, like, we know later on, obviously we see later on what happens to Tosa. He does get smacked at the side of it. I just want to like, because like when I was reading this, I thought this was Sentamaru at first, and then I had to realize it was Brogy. Then I was like, at that point I was just like, okay, like Tosa got smacked out. Okay, cool. And then I see him. He's head first into the ground. You barely see his legs. He's cracked the ground. Like he is.
Yeah, he's gone for a while. He's been Tosa crunched. We're not going to see him for a good minute.
And I don't know where this is coming from. Oda actually drew like smoke fumes coming from him. Like, I don't know if he farted or it's like the insane amount of pressure that Brogy hit him with. You see like a smoke fume coming out. I'm like, that's not what really happens. But like you and I before the call talked about how when people die, their gas accumulates. Maybe that's what instantly happened here. You talked about how a hippo turned into a landmine and exploded and killed 5 lions, right? Maybe Tosa gave his body up for the cause. Maybe he exploded.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, maybe he's just releasing that decomposing gas, decomposing gas. Something's going on here.
To give you guys insight on what me and Sai talk about off call.
We talk about dying hippos. So we see that Dory and Bragi are the ones who took him down, right? The Mr. 3 victims are coming in hot, and they are strong, dude. They are absolutely strong if they can just one-shot a VA. And that was just Bragi, by the way.
Casually. Not even with the offensive part of his weapon.
They didn't address him. They didn't talk to him. Like, to be honest, this could have been a no-name Marine they took down. Like, they have no clue, right? Like this could have just been a regular soldier. They had no way of distinguishing Tosa from a vice admiral.
Yeah, and I think that the scariest part of this is that nobody knew that they were like Frankie and them was like giants, and it's like, how do you remember last chapter how you were saying like, shouldn't they be able to see the giants from the center of the island? They're huge, right? Like reasonably, you like, and then I asked, I was like, is it the rumbling? Like, are they shaking the island as they run through? No, apparently they're so stealthy that they snuck up on a vice admiral and Frankie and Bonnie to the point that they were surprised. You know what I mean? Like, these guys...
See, this could negate what I hate about giants, because I'm like, yo, giants are just slow people. Like, they're slow moving, they're slow when it comes to fighting, but I'm like, yo, this might be the quickest giant thing we've seen so far. Like, it's crazy.
Now, it could be a funny scenario where they were just hiding in the bushes, kind of, and then they were like, whack-a-mole, they just came out, surprise!
It's, oh, Par, we're stupid!
Well, that's not new, but...
No, Par, it's because the Buster Call is loud! The Buster Call is loud. There's explosions everywhere. Of course they're hidden. Dude, what are we lobotomized?
That one commenter is rolling in the stocks right now.
Yeah, we're lobotomized, Par.
Yeah,
it's the Buster Call's fault.
The Oda is gonna write that in the essay. Someone's gonna be like, "Why didn't anybody notice the giants running out?" Well, are you dumb? Do you know how loud a cannonball is?
Yeah, do you know how loud a cannonball is? Like, of course the island is shaking. Cannonballs are happening, right? It's not the giants.
Oh no, cannonballs are happening.
There we go. Yeah. The Buster Call is in full effect, dude.
Goddamn.
Damn. So
that's fun times.
Dory and Bragi, though, like, they're just being scaled upwards, and I can't tell if they were always this strong or if it's because of their new weapons from Elbaf. Granted, they look like the same weapons, but you know, their old weapons were rusty. They had a lot of cracks and dinks. They weren't looking too good. They were really blunt. So, you know, Mr. 3 had it easy. But over here, dude, like, they are destroying everybody.
Like, I kind of maybe the nuance we need to take, and like, I don't know how the agricultural aspect of Little Garden can sustain two giants for 100 years without it self-imploding in terms of like them eating it dry. Like, they're not farming, they're not doing anything, they're just getting sea creatures, I guess, and eating them sometimes. Or I don't even know
dinosaurs.
How much like, they didn't even have drinks. So like, maybe like we should be looking at it as like
malnourished giants. Yes, they were malnourished. They had bad weapons, and yeah, Mr. 3, he came in at a great time. Maybe that's it.
They were like two billionaires who tried to live off the land, and they just gave up like all the riches of because they were the top, they were the cream of the crop. But like, I think what I'm thinking they were, and I'm not saying these two were equivalent, but Sanji and Zeph on that one little thing. That's what they were. They were just there.
Yeah. They didn't have a lot of food. They weren't looking too good. Yeah.
Oh, and they probably were not doing Semla. They weren't doing the yearly festival. So like,
they didn't celebrate the sun god recently, so they weren't blessed either. Yeah.
Exactly. All angles, they were like
they were at their lowest point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, here's the thing, though. Like, this does make me really excited for other pre-time skip characters who have been training and who could potentially get stronger. Like, dude, imagine Don Krieg, right? Arlong. Like, we talked about Blackbeard going to Fishman Island, but bro, Arlong, dude. What if Arlong is there? Because right now, like, all they have are those bums in the castle, like what the Ryuboshi, Fukaboshi, and all them. But dude, if Arlong is there now, oh my god.
Okay, let's not be crazy. I'm pretty sure Fukaboshi beats Arlong. Come on.
Dude, right? I don't know, man. I mean, Arlong is the brother of Jinbei. Like, you know, this could get kind of crazy, man.
Yeah, so he's like Mamaboshi or something like that. He's the
No. I think if Arlong seriously trained, I do think he could beat the brothers, man.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I think if
Arlong has potential, he has potential.
He gets scaled up. I think if anyone East Blue comes back, Arlong is.
You think I think Arlong is guaranteed to come back since Jinbei is a part of our crew. I don't know in what capacity, but I feel like he will come back. Another character I want to come back is Gin. I'm still holding out for Gin and Don Krieg. Yeah, one day.
We have the undisputed most oppressive antagonist of East Blue back in the story, and they are fodder.
I mean, I'm
Smoker.
fine with that. Like, so when I say Arlong is gonna get stronger, I don't think he's gonna be like a deciding factor in a war per se.
He's
But
gonna be Bellamy Dressrosa.
yeah,
Level.
he's gonna be like Grand Fleet level. You know what I mean?
Ah, like boxing with Cavendish. Cavendish is too high up there. I
Yeah,
feel like.
Cavendish is too high. You know, give him like Orlumbus, give him Ideo, Blue Gilly, give him
Okay.
them, right? Because well, like Dellinger, the half Fishman hybrid, was over here like destroying half of the Grand Fleet. So yeah,
True, true.
maybe we throw in a
Arlong versus
full Fishman
Dellinger.
and it's over.
Arlong versus Dellinger. That's a
They had the
fight.
same bounty.
Oh, wait, really?
Actually, Arlong had a higher bounty than Dellinger.
And we gotta give him inflation pre-time skip buff. Like
Yeah.
Arlong is kind of
Arlong could go crazy, especially if Arlong capitalizes on the Jimbei hype. Like, hey, that's my brother. Over
Yeah.
$1 billion. Yeah, dude, Arlong might just get a bounty by association, man.
Yeah. This is that's fair. But and as far as the Giants go, right? Like them scaling upward is like they have all of the cards. They don't even need to return back to the story with like the illusion that like, oh, like Crocodile came back, yet we have no understanding of why he would be stronger. Whereas the Giants, like, we never even really got the Giants. We just had all the lore that says that they were insane and the world government was afraid of them. So like they at least have that. So like them being like this and then them like blitzing us and and them sneaking up on us.
That's
Like,
crazy.
sure.
Do you think Dorian Brogger are some of the strongest Giants out there? Or do you think there's stronger ones out there like Loki and maybe the King of Elbaf or something?
I would imagine so like they are 140 160ish, I think. And so that puts them at like the like if 300 is normal life, I think the old Giants that Big Mom beat were like 300 something. They were like really old. And so
Yeah.
like that's kind of the like I say cope. I know it's disingenuous. Yeah, like if they're like a normal human's a 150-year-old like if
You think
that's
they're
what
like in their prime?
they might be like prime, like just before prime maybe. And I'm saying just before prime because there's probably like a garp kind of character, not garp, like yeah, like a garp kind of character or a kainu kind of character on Elbaf, and that might be a Loki, that might be like someone else in their army, right? Because like
Yeah.
you'd imagine that like yeah, they have pirates, but like wouldn't they have an army? Wouldn't they have like it's called Warland, so like they should probably have
Like a chieftain or something.
yeah, the pirates probably have a lot of the glory of the world, but like there's still a lot of glory to be had elsewhere, right? So
Yeah, I like that. I'm excited for Elbaf. Like, seeing how they perform here has really hyped me up for Elbaf, man. Like, Dory, Bragi, their attitude, like, even the nameless ones, I'm like, yo, like, maybe I like Giants after all. Maybe I'm switching my stance a little bit.
yeah, and this goes back to what I was saying like last week, where it's like when you brought up the Vicky the Viking, like that's it's a core inspiration for One Piece, period. And if we look at how Oda treats the core inspirations for One Piece, he puts a lot of effort in that. And so when Oda
Yeah.
does that, I think we end up having a good time. I think Egghead is an example of that, as we know that this was the last saga, which, you know, like Oda has said, like people are like, oh, how does Oda plan so far ahead? And he's like, I didn't plan so far ahead. This was supposed to be like 20 years ago, but I just pushed it off. So it's like this was already there, and this last saga is all the stuff that Oda is core to him. You know, Wano is a little bit of an exception because it's outside of it, but obviously Wano's Japan and Oda's Japanese. You know, Oda could hit us through a loop and say he's not Japanese by the end of it, but yeah,
That would be great. Imagine if Oda was like a fishman.
yeah. Hey,
He's spreading his propaganda.
yeah. Listen, I would accept him. Would you discriminate if you found out he was a fisherman?
I don't know if I discriminate, but I would be like, yo, like, we need to get him in a lab. You know, we got to
Get
like
him in the
experiment.
lab, that's
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
we need Saint
if there was like
Saturday.
a real life fish person, I'd be like, yo, we should like study them or something, right?
Yeah, sure,
Like,
sure.
yeah, forget about One Piece, dude. Like, cut them open. Like, let's see what makes them tick. Like, are there more of those fish people out there?
Wait, like you're meaning like postpartum, not postpartum, post death, right? Postpartum, post Oda pregnant, like no, post him dying, right? Like Walt Disney,
Wait,
right?
what?
Like,
No. What? Why
um,
would we wait?
because it'd be kind of scary to do it if he made One Piece and
Hey, advancements in the world never wait, Par.
wait, yes they do. Wait, sometimes they
We're
do.
no, we're not gonna wait for that one. What the hell?
Wait, I mean,
Okay,
I don't
so
want
if Oda was an alien,
uh-huh.
you would want him to finish One Piece before we experiment on him?
Yeah. I think most of the commenters on my side let him do the work. Like you're on
Okay,
my
okay.
side too, like a
As
kid in
One Piece
China.
fans, yeah. Okay, okay. Would you say the same for anybody who wasn't writing One Piece though?
For anybody who wasn't,
Let's say you find out your next door neighbor is an alien.
well, yeah, but like they're not Oda, obviously.
So Oda's getting special treatment though.
Yeah, that's what we do. We do that to our own people. Look at what the BTS, right? They got special treatment. You're supposed to get drafted. They didn't, right? Like we give special treatment to people who achieve things.
Okay, how about this? How about this? We experiment on Oda if he is an alien from a different planet. Like, let's say a picture of Oda actually comes out. He's green. He has the antennas, like 50 fingers or something. I'd say he can still work on One Piece, but I think we should lock him up in a lab and maybe we conduct like daily tests.
Does it change your mind that he has all the lame things about humans like diabetes, cow, high blood pressure, high cholesterol?
No. That's a disguise.
He has
Oda,
addiction disorders.
no. What if that's a disguise? Like we have to we are in a weird realm right now where Oda is an alien. I don't think that matters. I feel like that's just it's part of his human disguise. Haha, he was trying to blend in.
We have years of his medical records, but okay, now aside from Oda, if you found out an alien, like the alien comes down, but then like you want to study them, right? But then you find out, like, not even with studying, they have diabetes, they have cancer, they have all the brokenness of humans. Would you still care to study them, even though they're basically have the same ailments that we do?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I guess
maybe their body does things a different way. Maybe their body is the solution. Like, you never know, dude.
What if it was Einstein? That's what I was thinking about, right? Like, if it was Einstein, I would let him cook. I wouldn't stop him early.
No, I'm letting Oda cook just in a lab. What?
Yeah, but like, what if they can't cook in the lab? What if they need their own? So you're like Pero Sparrow and Big Mom with Caesar, right?
Yeah,
you'll make
let him cook.
everything. Yeah. Okay. We give them everything. We treat them well.
We treat them well, but we experiment though. We don't treat them too well.
No, but like really well, like better than most humans. Because get their best food.
Yeah, sure. Why
whatever
not?
they want. They get to have kids, a full family.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Well, I don't know what kind of alien he is.
Oh.
What if things really depend, Par?
What if he already
things
has
depend?
Kids? Would you experiment on the kids too?
If they're aliens, you have to, right?
I guess.
There's not like a law that protects like aliens from outer space.
Yeah, that's called like we have a term that kind of conflates to that. You know, we call illegal immigrants aliens, right? So like
that's why I said aliens from outer space.
Our alienation laws apply to them too, because they're just aliens from space. They need to go through the process. No. Yeah.
No.
You need to build a wall.
There can be no gray areas in the law, Par. We must just slap them down with the hammer.
I'm pretty
the minute
sure
aliens land here, dude. The minute aliens land here on Earth, I feel like we gotta mess them up, dude. We gotta show them that we're hostile.
I'm pretty sure it's not a law that we have to experiment on aliens. I don't know where you're getting that from.
No, we gotta slam it down. We gotta keep it on lock.
First, you have to get this law passed that you're making up. You have to get all these alien subjugation laws in order.
The world is too soft.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's good to be a little soft. I don't want.
Dude, imagine this. This is what we should do. Now that I think about it.
Oh no. I don't like it.
Once a day,
no,
we should just fire off missiles into space to show aliens that we mean business. Even though
we kind of do.
No, even more missiles.
Even more.
Explosions in the sky so that if an alien is passing by or if they're like zooming in, checking in on Earth, they're going to be like, yo, these guys are crazy.
So here's the two
Just be a
things,
really
right?
hostile planet for no reason,
You
even if
want
we
to
don't know
buster
aliens are out
call?
there.
You want to buster call blindly into space? One, but two, I think it's already projected because the way we get satellites in space is by just shooting rockets up there. And I think it's like in like 10 years or 15 years, there's gonna be so much debris that we can't even leave
Hey,
anymore.
that's fine by me. You know what? We're gonna be like a gaseous planet, but instead of gas, it's just debris. There's just debris everywhere.
Yeah, debris, not to be confused with brie, the cheese. You know what I mean? So like,
Yes.
this is a completely different issue.
NASA, if you
Completely.
need some help up there, let me know.
Yeah, yeah. We
I
got
got
a man with a
I got the
plan.
ideas.
Yeah, yeah. He's got the vision.
I'll show those aliens how it's done.
Yeah, 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 yeah. For sure, for
So
sure. I
speaking of
trust this guy.
aliens,
Yeah.
Frankie's
What
bounty
is
poster is
urban?
different.
Oh,
Oh,
that's a good
yeah,
one. That's
yeah.
a good
Frankie's
point.
bounty poster looks kind of strange. I mean, we've already talked about it before, but it's probably gonna play a role of some sort, you know?
Yeah, there's like low hanging fruit in this chapter. It's
Yeah,
good feelings, right? On reaction, I'm assuming in your video too, you talked about like I like that that's a plot point, but I don't feel like it's the end of it. It's not just oh they didn't just make Frankie's wanted poster the Thousand Sunny just so the Giants can be like oh who are you? You know, it's gonna
yeah,
be
yeah. It's gonna be a little bit deeper than that because that's how the Sanji one started, right? It was kind of a joke. Like Sanji
yeah
was like, "What the hell is this?" And then people are laughing at him, and then boom, Duval. I think it's the same thing. Like, I mean, even Frankie was upset about his bounty poster too. He's like, "Yo, this ain't even me."
yeah.
So
Although
it's gonna come
Frankie
back.
hasn't been upset yet, right? He hasn't had a negative reaction to his poster, has he?
No, he has, yeah. Right when it got released.
Oh yeah, yeah,
He's the
yeah.
one who like he had the shot where like he points at it like, "What the hell is this? This
Right,
isn't
right,
me."
right, right, right. I'm forgetting. Yep.
I think he was upset about the Frankie Shogun too, because it wasn't even him or the Frankie or General
General
Frankie.
Frankie, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he wants his face up there, but I would argue his face isn't not exactly bounty poster friendly.
Yeah. I mean, he changes his hair every single
Yeah,
arc too.
right.
So
You
yeah,
got to take a picture of something that doesn't change, like General Frankie or the
the
Thousand
Thousand
Sunny.
Sunny.
Yeah,
But
I
the Thousand
actually don't
Sunny
blame him.
might be changing.
Yeah, it could. It could. Hey.
Right?
Don't say that theory too loud. People will get upset.
Yeah, yeah. Indestructible Sunny is
Yeah,
supreme.
the indestructible Sunny's gonna come in. Oh man.
Yeah, yeah. And then
Urban though.
obviously the Masters line again in quotes. Oh wait, no.
What's up?
I think someone said in the live stream that it's not in quotes in the Raws. So TCB is on
Yeah,
our agenda. Masters is a weird line. Fun
it's just
stuff. Fun
strange that
stuff.
Usopp calls them masters when they haven't taught Usopp a damn thing.
Or like I don't even know if they've spoken at him. You know what I mean? Like when
Yeah,
he was
I feel like role model is a better way to word it, or not
yeah,
word it, but you know, like it's a better takeaway because yeah, like Usopp looks up to the giants. He loves their way of fighting, and you know they're like I don't even know how we describe it. Like he just likes their mindset.
Barto. Did he ask Luffy like can I call you sensei? Can I call you master? Did he have that arc?
I don't know.
I gotta check that back
There's
because
a
I
lot
feel
of
like
Barto filler out there, so I don't even know what's canon and what's not canon anymore.
true. Well, I would just look at Dressrosa first, and I wouldn't care about most other stuff. But
Yeah,
um, I feel like Barto, you know, he probably didn't call him master before, like, oh, Luffy, you're my master. But like that's kind of the relationship that Luffy or Barto to Luffy, Usopp to the Giants. So it's like adoration, purely like as far as yeah, I know that they spoke to Usopp, but it was more like Usopp said something and then he said like, haha, you puny human, in your puny brain and puny lifespan, you couldn't fathom the life of a giant. And then Usopp's like, wow, I'm a puny human. I should aspire to be a giant. And Nami's just like, what? And then Usopp's like, you wouldn't understand. You're a girl. No, he didn't say you're a girl, but like
he
that's
kind of
kind of
insinuated it. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's like this is a man's dream. I want to be the warrior of no, not the warrior of liberation, the great warrior of the sea, or the brave warrior of the sea. But yeah, that was another thing. But yeah, this is sandwiched in the vice admiral hype, right?
we
We
got
left off
Urban
with
and Pomsky.
Tosa getting smacked down and landed on Urban. Pomsky. Oh yeah, Urban. I don't know why Urban is a dog thing connection, but hey, maybe it's a brand too. So
When it comes to Urban, I don't think that has anything to do with the dog. I think that's just a standalone name. Kind of like
Ooh.
Red King and Bluegrass for me, and
Mm.
Doll. I feel like while we do have a lot of dog Vice Admiral names here, I don't think they all relate to the dogs though.
Well, bluegrass is the food. Bluegrass is the food. It's like a very, it's like the most
Yeah.
one of the well-known things. So I think
You
bluegrass
can
is one
relate
of
it to food, but I still personally relate it to bluegrass music and country music,
them.
considering her
Could
her
be.
speech pattern and her devil fruit.
Oh, so
I
you're
feel
saying
like
like urban could be like urban music or something like that?
it could be.
Hey,
I mean that's not where I was going, but I think bluegrass doesn't relate to dog food. I think
gotcha.
that's more so just like the country thing, just
Yeah.
based off of the way she talks and her devil fruit power.
Yeah, the reason why I'm including bluegrass there is because there's guillotine, and guillotine is also just like a like if you own a dog, then you probably have
Yeah.
these words are there in your mind, right? So like guillotine and bluegrass is faster for my friend. So I'm like, oh wow, okay. Guillotine was a little bit less quick, but then she got it. And then obviously Red King, and I didn't say urban because I didn't think that there was one for urban. But
Yeah.
I do like the idea that there is like another like half to it. Because urban and Red King, bluegrass, if there is like a Venn diagram type of thing, that'd be kind of cool, you know? Um,
Now
yeah,
I kind of want to like
urban,
go through all the other Vice Admiral names too.
yeah, yeah. Urban could yeah, urban music. That's a thing. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that's a thing. Yeah, so
Vice
bluegrass
Admirals are so
country.
dope, dude.
It's fun because Oda, like, as much as people meme on them, I don't. I dislike like Oda puts a lot of emphasis on them, but then they do this Buster Call type of things where it's like it's very obvious that the major like not that the majority of pirates are like a threat to the Straw Hats, right? Like if we came across a random group of pirates, it's not really a concern for the Straw Hats. In the same regards, like the Marines are kind of just like, oh no, we got to run for the Marines, we got to skedaddle, like it's like Scooby Doo type of thing, right? Like it's not like that. But then when it's like comes to like a moment like this, like they're actually being used. A lot of their upward like maximizing potential stuff like a buster call or how the Blackbeard pirates operate, and they're very like efficient in doing stuff, whereas we see like the Marines are like questioning themselves even in the story, and it's like I don't know if that's like supposed to be how we're supposed to like see them, or it's like a one-off thing. And I feel like overall the Marines just have like a lower rung thing, but I can't say I dislike them because it's like Oda puts a lot of emphasis and effort, and something that really drove that home to me is the live action, because it's like if there was a way to consolidate the story and Oda had like approved of this like very navy centric thing where we got like actual ship like how to like uh take care of a ship, and that like how they do the mast stuff, the rope tying, all that stuff. And like Oda put a really big emphasis on the Marines, and Oda also has said like in Junction, like in an interview just around the time when like live action was like doing their stuff, he was saying that the thing that he wants to do the most is the Navy stuff. So I like that he's giving us so much like exciting things to look forward to, because we don't know which one of these guys is going to be which one of these characters is going to be what's it called, sorry, um which one of these guys is gonna pop back up in notoriety, right? Like a T-Bone character, you know what I mean? T-Bone showed up, got knocked out, but then boom, he comes back in and he's a crowd favorite, right? So it's like,
Yeah. I mean, wait. You're telling me none of these guys are crowd favorites?
I mean, not on my streams. I don't know.
Hmm.
Everyone was
Interesting.
anticipating your arrival. They're like, "Oh, I can't wait to hear Sai yap and yap about the Vice Admiral."
Honestly, like if you were to put the Vice Admirals and the Straw Hat Pirates in front of me, I don't know who I'd pick to be a part of, you know?
These Vice Admirals, the one
Yeah.
Brogy turned into a meat patty
I just
a
think they're
second.
cool, man. Like they're cool. Like if you had all 9 Vice Admirals lined up and then all 9 Straw Hats, minus Luffy because he's like the 10th, the captain.
No.
Actually, throw Luffy in there and throw Akainu on the other side. I might pick the Marines. I'm not gonna lie.
Wait, but like Akainu is not their cap. I guess there's their captain.
He's a
Yeah.
fleet admiral, you know.
Yeah, I get. Well, technically, Kizaru is their captain right now, so
You know, yeah, throw Kizaru up there. Yeah. I
Kizaru
might pick the
versus Luffy.
Marines. Not like in terms of strength,
Yeah,
obviously,
no,
but you
I
know,
know.
just in terms of like coolness. I'm like, I don't know.
You know what I'll
Like,
give you?
imagine having Tosa as your mentor. That'd be dope.
You know what I'll give you? It's like if you were to give all of these characters the same depth as like we got with
Yeah,
the Straw Hats,
exactly,
like
exactly.
I could see a world where like all characters could be likable, right? And like the benefit that the Straw Hats have to the main characters, all this stuff. But like the things that they'll fall off on, and I think we're seeing it is the decision making, right? The thing that make the Straw Hats and the main characters, other than like the Barto or the Grand Fleet, is that they'll make decisions that only they would make, right? Like you put Cavendish in the same situation as or Barto. Yeah, I guess this one stood out. Like Barto and someone else was there, and they saw Cavendish, running up on Robin, and they didn't know what to do. And like Robin made like a decision, and she didn't like kill him or whatever. She just held him down. And it's like that's not what anybody else would have decided. There's so many things that they would decide that other characters wouldn't, and that's why the admirals are super interesting because they'll make the decisions that most people wouldn't. That's why Garp is a very interesting character. If I see that from the vice admirals that they're like able to make executive decisions, which we're not seeing in this chapter, I'll like them a little bit more because that's what Oda's giving us is that they're not capable of like higher level thinking at the moment where there's
Dude, like
do we do the buster call? Do we not do the buster call? Tosa
imagine there's like a
Clutch!
0.5 piece out there somewhere.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like a half piece, I would call it. There's half piece out there, and we spent 1,000 chapters with these vice admirals, bro.
I feel like I'd be disappointed. Because
this would be their Onigashima.
sure, and their decision making. There's no like they would be outside of Onigashima. Should we raid it? Should we cancel the raid? And it's like I mean like
That'd be
reasonably
cool.
before the raid, Luffy should have canceled it. Can like pre Onigashima, Luffy doesn't win. Period. They had to pull a lot of shit out of thin air, and that air turned into Gear 5. But the point being is like that's the reason why Lucci is like, yeah, he is a character that showed us that higher level thinking always, right? So as far as he went, that's why he's a fan favorite. That's why he's anticipated to come back. Like these guys are not showing even like Bluno level thinking. You know what I mean? Bluno was out here when they separated the train car. Bluno was like, you called me, and he opened the door behind Sanji, and it's like, oh shit! And then he fought Luffy, and it's like, goddamn, these guys.
You're not giving these guys time, dude. Like they're finally just thinking right now.
These guys got smacked.
We gotta wait 5 more chapters. We gotta wait 5 more chapters, man. Wait, they might actually do something.
Wait. Actually, Oimo and Kashi are here. Yes, they got scaled up. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
So that means these vice admirals probably lose to Oimo and Kashi, like the literal slave grunt workers on Eni's lobby.
I don't. Hey. Maybe, but that doesn't make them any less cool, though.
Okay, yeah, you said like as far as strength goes, right? But
I was like strength wise, like it's not. They're not looking too good. But
I just said
me
the
tell
Oimo
ya.
Kashi thing because we didn't regard them as strong. Like I'm pretty sure did Usopp? No, who took down Oimo and Kashi? Was it
Polly and the Frankie family? Polly, the Frankie family, Tilestone.
We're talking about Mr. Three Victims, Dory and Brogy, bro. If Oimo and Kashi come back and they clap
would you rather lose to the Frankie family or Mr. 3? I'd rather lose to Mr. 3, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because at least he has like a devil fruit, right?
Ollie and the Frankie family victims is crazy. You know what I mean?
And we're talking about 2 giants, too. Well, I guess Dorian brought your 2 giants, too. Damn. But yeah, even then, I don't know.
Well, like Mr. 3 also prep time, right? Like we have to give them. Paulie and Frankie family raided their ass, ran up on them.
It wasn't like a sneak attack or anything.
They're not malnourished. They're literally giants in the world government.
They were living good.
they were living good. They thought they were treated well. They're like, oh, we just gotta work here. This is a good gig. We'll get our Dorian Broggie out, right? They might not be the smartest, but to be fair, they're going against the world government, the canonically the smartest decision-making group in the series. But the point being is that if Oimo and Kashi beats any of these vice admirals and they are Paulie and Frankie family victims, that's more atrocious than Mr. 3.
Yeah, that's yeah.
No.
At least with Mr. 3, you can say you lost to Baroque Works.
Yeah, the third rank Baroque Works.
Yeah. I lost to a secret organization of pirates.
Yeah, like honestly, Mr. 3 was like the brains besides Crocodile. Mr. 1's his muscle. Bon Clay was a utility tool. Mr. 3 was out there doing things.
Yeah, he was smart.
Yeah,
I think Crocodile said that too, right? He said you're not number 3 for your strength. You're number 3 because of your intelligence, and that's why Mr. 4 was like right below him. Even though Mr. 4 can beat Mr. 3, it's like no. Mr. 3 is just smart.
Whereas Paulie and Frankie,
you could say you lost to the smartest man in Baroque Works, even like you could spin that a couple of ways, but for Paulie,
Crocodile is,
yeah, but he's kind of like outside, right?
Luffy's mom,
yeah, something like that. There is there's something else that comes from saying you're a Paulie victim, a Frankie family victim.
Yeah, that's so bad.
It doesn't look good on the rap sheet. Which is why I'm like, I never like on paper, the Giants just don't look good. Like, I don't think people understand that we could say that characters don't look good based on what they have, but they're probably going to get better.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's really dumb when people are like, oh, look at this chapter. Gotcha. Told you they're going to be great. It's like, yeah, no shit. I mean, of course. Yeah, they're going to get better, but just like based on the Carfax, they're kind of a meme.
Yeah.
Up until the point where they're not. That's just how the story is.
At that, not that you'd have to be so insane that but like if let's say that Oimo and Kashi pull out the same level of casualness against Tosa that Broggie did, to go from being beaten by the Frankie family to doing that to a vice admiral, that's a Rayleigh probably trained them at that point, right?
Yeah, they were on a Ruskaina for a little bit.
Yeah,
they've been fighting some wild animals.
Yeah. Oh my god. And wait, and they were part of the Giants Pirates too. They were part of the legendary giant pirates 100 years ago that brought terror to the world.
It's like being a part of Roger's crew, but for Giants.
They were beaten by Frankie family, only to then get re-upscaled later. It's fine. Yeah.
It's fine. We can make fun of them though.
Yeah, so as we move on to the next main section though, which is kind of all encapsulated in like one giant eyeball, kind of.
You're talking about Saturn.
Yeah.
Oh, do we have time for Saturn? You got to go in like 10 minutes, don't you?
Like 15. We have enough time.
We have enough time to finish the rest of this chapter.
Well, I think it's all like we can't do the Vegapunk stuff, obviously. Or we can do the Vegapunk and not the Saturn stuff. But I feel like the Saturn stuff is kind of quick, right? Like, let's just both say,
dude, there's no way. There's no way. Like, okay, wait. I know us. We spent hours rambling about nothing.
What's your first reaction to seeing Saturn here?
He's lobotomized. Okay.
But you didn't. Well, later on, we found out like he didn't say a single word. Yeah, lobotomized. Yeah. Now, first impression when you saw him attacking Luffy.
He's like mindlessly attacking.
Okay. But do you think he's scary now? Because prior to this chapter, he didn't really have that adjective on him. But now, do you think he has that adjective?
Scary in what sense?
Like, we should be like worried for Luffy. A little bit. Like, even a little bit.
No.
Okay, so he went from 0 to 0.
No, that's also not it.
Okay,
I think in terms of like power, he definitely like got upgraded a little bit, but I still don't think he's like Luffy level yet. I'm not gonna be like, oh no, is Luffy gonna survive? It's more so like, in terms of like scariness, I think he looks creepier, and I'm excited for that because I want to know like what the reason is behind that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
as far as like, do I fear for Luffy's safety? Nah, not really.
So, and then that I'm kind of on the same boat. What significance do you think the Venom has? Like the Venom is just kind of like the scary thing, but like is Luffy really gonna get disintegrated by Venom at this point? Like
Nah.
I don't think so. So like
I
what
mean,
is
like
the
he
Venom
survived
do?
Magellan. I mean, I don't think he's gonna be like too
Well,
distraught
I
here.
people brought that up too, but like I I think it's different because it's like the red Hydra thing. That's not like poison or toxin anymore. And then also like yes, like Luffy has increased defenses, but like that fish, he ate that fish and almost died.
Yeah.
Had Reiju not fixed him, and that wasn't even like the disintegrate. It was like acid. Like this is like acid disintegrating. Like Luffy doesn't have
Yeah, but
immunity.
we're like Luffy's kind of in a different realm now, right? Like he's in Gear 5th. Like he swallowed Kizaru's laser beam and then just shot it out of his eyes.
All right, that's fair. Do you
Like
think
if
he
this
just
venom, like if he got injected with venom, I wouldn't be surprised if Luffy just like whipped out his pee and then just started spewing it out. I don't want to say cock out here, but like
yeah? Well,
he
you
could have
said it
just easily spew
anyways.
it out. I did anyways. Yeah, I was like, yeah, pee sounds dumb.
Male chicken.
But yeah, that's kind of how it is. Like I feel like Luffy being hit by venom wouldn't really do much unless it like negates his devil fruit or something like Blackbeard, or maybe it has hockey in it. But I don't, like I said, I see this as an upgrade for Saturn, but I'm still not at the point where I'm looking at it. I'm like, yeah, Luffy can't handle it.
Yeah, I think like the other part too is like in this panel where Saturn's doing this like the windy thing, which just really quickly, I didn't really like put two and two together,
Yeah.
but I was thinking like, could it be that this was that windy arrow thing that we saw Pierce Sabo? Now that we
It
see,
could be like it. I was thinking about like how maybe this is his imagination coming in, and like I feel like all the other Gorosei members could be like masters of imagination. You know what? Now that I look at it, Saturn doesn't say anything, and his eyes are like kind of nuts now. This kind of reminds me of Shark Boy and Lava Girl, where you know how like all of their powers are based on imagination and dreams. And the main villain, their ability was to fall asleep with their eyes open.
oh,
Maybe this is that. Maybe he's activating his dream powers.
yeah, but
And
then
he's
still
just
sucks at
daydreaming.
dreaming. He's so shitty with his dreams. He can't even hit Luffy. And that's what I was actually going to get to. It's like we see Luffy, and I just want to clarify this is clones, right? Like he turned into multiple.
So I think they're clones, but I posted my review yesterday. Some of the top comments are saying that these are not clones and it's just Luffy just bouncing around, which I could see. But the thing with that, the reason why I didn't immediately go for that, and the reason why I did lean more towards clones, is because we don't see like an effect bringing them all in together. And, like when Luffy was dodging Lucci and we saw like the three heads, we at least saw like the line in between the heads to show that, yeah, Luffy's moving from this to that to that to that.
Yeah.
We don't exactly get that here. It all feels like just one thing. So that's why I am leaning towards clones more than it's all Luffy dodging. But I guess this is something we'll have to see in the anime. I don't know. Like I feel like we had the lines. I'd be like, yeah, you know what? I was wrong. But right here, I don't know.
Yeah, like unless they cleaned up the panel excessively and removed the lines, but like from my standpoint, this is just casual clones that he's just like he saw Kizaru do it and and incorporated
Yeah,
it.
that's where I was at.
And we don't know if they're tangible. We don't know if they're like actually him. Like we don't know the scope of these things, and it's not like we're waiting for translations. Translation doesn't fix this. But then on top of that, going back to what you're saying about the Venom thing, it's like like Luffy's literally just pulling out like a new ability casually. So like yeah, like even though I think that like yeah, the Venom could be deadly to him. At the end of the day, he could just like imagine a different way for that Venom to like yeah, it like melts him, but then maybe he grows another arm. Like I don't know. Like at that point, I'm just like I don't really understand. The fear factor isn't there, which is like why it's interesting because like this Saturn form we didn't get like a transformation for it, right? Oda loves to do like, new trans gear 4, gear 5, like that kind of thing. But then he just showed up in this thing. He doesn't speak, doesn't say a word. Luffy's out here doing thing, and then at the end of the chapter, he gets palmed in the face, and I'm like, I don't, not that like the aura, I don't see the aura. No, I feel the aura. It's just like, as far as the fear for Luffy, I don't see it, and my fear is for everybody else. But it's like Vegabunk's already dead by the end of the chapter, so it's like I don't like, the only person that was reasonably supposed to like be we're supposed to be worried about because he's not a combatant. He's already gone. And then the Giants are rolling up to this location saying, yeah, we'll handle it. And what, the Giants are going to come here and get slapped by Saturn? No one in the history of running up on Saturn has had that happen to them at this point. So I don't know why that would change for the Giants, considering what they've been doing. And like, I'm just confused because it's like, yeah, Saturn's scarier, but he's not like scary, right? Like, it's weird.
Yeah, he's creepy. I guess that's a good way to put it. He is giving off that creepy factor.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's not scary.
Like, I still think Kizaru's the threat over Luffy. And I'm saying that, seeing that like Saturn is getting palmed and no effect, and Kizaru is coughing up blood. But like, I feel like if Kizaru like lost his mind like Saturn is, right? Like, let's say Kizaru just went berserk all of a sudden. I feel like Kizaru is gonna do way more damage. You know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah. I feel like for Saturn, it's more like the fear of the unknown because we don't know what he can and can't do yet. For Kizaru, like we know like laser beams, light, clones, yeah, cool. But like for Saturn, like we don't know like why he's not talking. Like we're guessing, right? Like, oh, daydreaming, maybe Emu, maybe he's awakened and he's like the impelled down jailers. Like we're kind of just speculating.
Yeah.
Whereas for Kizaru, like we know like why he can do certain things. Like light clones, sure, sword, sure, beams, cool. Like I don't know. I feel like that's the reason why Saturn comes off as a little bit creepy. Yeah, it's like when you're in the Titan submarine going to see the Titanic, right? Like, what's down there, dude?
No, we knew. We have other people that aren't even down there. No, it's not this. No, but that's the thing.
It's the exact same, Par.
Like, that's, I guess that actually, the way you said it and the way I said, when you combine it, that actually applies into why it's like the fear of the unknown is scary because like we have an imagination of like ghosts and like spooky clowns and crazy stuff. Like our imagination fills in the gaps of what is scary to us because there's the unknown, right? But we just had the conversations like, what unknown could there be for Luffy at this point right now that like we're worried about, right? Like, it's hard to pull out something that really makes sense. And then also when it comes to like Saturn, it's like yeah, everything that he's been doing is unknown and it hasn't been scary. Like the force thing that he held Sanji and everyone down with, Luffy got hit by that and he just smiled and walked by and was like, yeah, I don't know what that was.
And I mean, that's just how it is. Like unless Saturn has like a real way to damage Luffy heavily, or unless Luffy runs out of energy, it's like, I don't really see Luffy losing, especially with backup on the way. Like you said, the Giants are coming. Like, I feel like they will just take care of Saturn. Like, they could just Hakoku Sovereignty him and just, walk away. We could leave, even though he does regenerate.
Yeah, it's they have their work. Saturn has his has a lot to prove to us, I feel like. And when he does, do you feel like it's next chapter or next chapter is gonna be
I hope so. Like, I have made fun of Saturn for a long time now, and it's the same with the Giants. Like, I'll make fun of him now, but I am looking forward to the day when he does something crazy. Like, maybe that's next chapter. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Or maybe we'll get an explanation to what this form is. Like, obviously it's like a full Zoan, like, Ushioni, or not Ushioni. Yeah, Ushioni. But we don't have it confirmed on text yet. Maybe it's like Oda with Kid's Devil Fruit, where Kid has the Jiki no Mi, and we never knew that for like hundreds of chapters until Oda's like, hey, I forgot to say this, but yeah, he has the Jiki. It's like, cool.
Yeah, it's, oh my god, I'm excited to see what happens. Give me 1 second. Just my son came in and he's like, wow. He said he learned whoa. Yeah. Yeah. The what's it called? Or what was the last thing you said? Sorry, I forgot.
Oh, do you have to head out here in a minute?
In a second, but I could get because I'm waiting right now for the them
Yeah,
to bring me in. It's like I'm in
we
a waiting
can.
room.
Yeah, we can do like the whole like final thoughts. Uh,
Yeah.
so guys, we have to head out pretty soon. We have
Mhm.
time constraints today, unfortunately, so we didn't get to cover the whole chapter or go as in depth as usual. But with that being said, though, Par, do you have any closing thoughts or anything else you want to let off your chest before we head out?
I guess like the only thing is like next chapter, right? Because it would almost feel like this is a chapter that the break week could be next week because it's like a good cliffhanger, all that stuff.
Yeah, good cliffhanger.
But 1109, right? 1109 is coming next week, and I think there's two reasons for that. It's like the message that we got from or the truth about the world. I think the you and I, at least on the live stream yesterday, we kind of agreed to a certain extent. We agreed to a minimum of like the ancient kingdom name, but the Ohara stuff, carrying on the will of Ohara, chapter 1066, everything that Shaka explained there, kind of comes through. So there's probably going to be some new information, but it should be stuff that like we kind of expect, which is why it's not like a super cliffhanger that Oda's setting us up for. That makes me more excited for the real cliffhanger that is somewhat sometimes he leaves us with a break week like that. But then I'm also like, is next week's chapter all Vegapunk? And it's weird because if Saturn gives off the information, the truth of the world, it'd be really helpful or really it would be way more nuanced if Saturn could give a reaction and he wasn't lobotomized and he could speak. You know what I
That'd be
mean?
hilarious. Imagine like all this lore is being dumped and Saturn's like, just still bopping around.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I've been sitting here. I'm like, wait, so is he gonna be even cognizant of what is
I
he
don't
just in
know.
attack mode? Like, I don't know what's
Oh, what
happening.
what would be really cool is if the information that Vegapunk divulges next chapter has to do with Saturn. Like it gives us an explanation as to what is going on with Saturn right now. Like, oh, the truth about this world, 900 years ago, there were lobotomized spiders ruling the Earth. And then
Yeah,
we get a shot of Saturn. I don't know.
it
It could
is.
be pretty cool. It could be
It's
like
in
that. It could tie in.
when Saturn transformed. Did Vegapunk didn't he said like I presume it's you, Saturn, right? Like he said something like that, I believe. Like
Did he?
meaning that
In this chapter?
not this chapter, like when Saturn revealed his form and showed up on Egghead, and Vegapunk saw him.
Oh.
I think he said like I presume it's you, and I'm only saying that I'm not sure certain, but I'm presuming that was like a slight inkling that he didn't know that this is what he looks like this is a form that he had. And the reason why I say that is because there's certain things that Vegapunk didn't know about Nika until he saw Luffy. He says that in two
Mm.
chapters
So you
ago.
think he had an inkling as to what Saturn was well beforehand? Imagine you're dying.
Okay.
You're
Imagine.
bleeding out. All of your guts are on the floor, intestines just hanging out. You're trying to put it together. You're trying to like salvage as much time as you can just on this earth, right?
Uh-huh.
And you're like, guys, I can't move. Please. The minute I moved, I'm just going to die. I am a doctor. Imagine you also went through with your lineage and you became a doctor.
Uh-huh.
50 years in the
When to
field.
my lineage is crazy.
And using your medical expertise, you're like, yeah, if I just get moved a centimeter, I'm gonna kick the bucket. And then
Mhm.
I look at you and I start kicking you around like a little soccer ball. I'm like, let's go, Par, let's get outside. That's
Then
essentially
you
what's happening
drop
here.
me. And then you
Yeah,
drop
and
me.
then I drop you, and then I guess somebody hits you with a chainsaw.
A laser beam. Let's
A
just say
laser
what
beam chainsaw. Yes, that is
yeah,
what
yeah.
happened here with Vegapunk, and I thought that
I
was kind of hilarious. I mean, I don't know, like what were they? I
I
mean, they had the best of intentions, but what were they thinking?
I don't know, but let me tell you, I if it were me, I would smile in my death because that laser beam cauterized my wound.
Oh my
And
god! It cauterized your wound and sent you straight to heaven. Yeah.
yeah, at least I could die with the other like all the other internal damage in with which is causing excruciating pain still. Like cauterized or not, like cauterizing a wound isn't painless either, by the
Yeah,
way.
it still burns.
Yeah. So um Yeah, me personally, smiling is difficult. Now, do I respect Vegapunk for doing so? Yes. Do I think he's now a D clan member? No. Do I think he's trying to be? Maybe. I don't know what the D means. Odin smiled, right? Is he a D? Are we? Is he ODN? Like I don't know. I don't know what to tell you on that front. But yeah, as far as the entire handling of Vegapunk, you know where I was
Dude,
at.
he's getting memed on.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, Vegapunk, I feel like everything revolving Vegapunk on Egghead Island has kind of been like, not a joke, but it's been kind of silly.
Yes. Thank you.
Like, but between his interactions with Saturn to just the things he
York.
does to this, like,
The
people,
password.
the password, even. Like, Vegapunk has always been such a strange character. And even here, they're like, hey, just leave me behind, protected Bonnie. You know, like, he had that little moment with them, like, guys, like, just go there, be with her. And then next thing
Yeah.
you know, Luffy's like, hey, Sanji, take him and leave. And then Sanji's just like, obviously, you know, Luffy being Luffy and Sanji listening to his captain, he's like, yeah, forget what Vegapunk said, let's go. And then they just carry him away. And I just love how Vegapunk is like, ouch, ouch, please, I said stop.
Yeah.
He's just in excruciating pain. And then Sanji gets kicked by Kizaru. And then Vegapunk gets stabbed. Oh, it's so funny, man. Yeah,
I
it
don't
feels
want to
bad
use
for
the
him.
word unserious, right? Because like this progression to this point has been like skating the line. Like he gets when he first got stabbed, that was kind of it was serious. It was like he had his own monologue, and then just before that, he saw his entire island get like it being blown to smithereens and destroyed, and
Yeah, and that was
all
kind
this
of
stuff.
sad, yeah.
So like there is serious stuff and there but like as far as the tension of him getting hit after he got hit the first time, it's felt weird, and it's not that it's not serious, but it's not that it is serious. It's like on both sides, but like then you add the context, and I've been saying this from the very beginning that like writing the smartest character in your fictional world is probably one of the most difficult tasks to ever do, like for any story. And whenever they do that, it's like make or break for me when I see that character. And Vegapunk has been a character that we've seen flawed, and that's like a good thing because then it's like, oh, he can make mistakes. Oh, he purposely it was like, yeah, the Punk Records, obviously someone evil can do something with that, but I don't care. You know, he'll say stuff like that. And it's like, okay, so now we add flaws, mistakes. He's not a perfect smart character. Shaka is the exception, right? But we killed him. And then that's the part where I'm kind of like, that's why I feel like a lot of the tension of Vegapunk is weird because Shaka died and we didn't even talk about it. And like, does that matter? When Alice we fixed her up, but like, we didn't fix Shaka back up. Like, he just got shot in the face. Alice got blown by a Rokugan. You know what I mean? Like, like a awakened Zoan Rokugan came back. I guess they remade her. I don't know. But like, Shaka, we don't know if he's real. We don't know if he's a robot. He got shot in the face by York. York is the most unserious character here. Let's be fair. Between the password, but the plan, all this stuff is just goofy. And then the dome. Let's not even talk about the laser dome. That's the most pervious dome, not impervious, like you're saying. And so it's like there's so many things about it that you tack on that's like I don't know what is like is this death meaningful? Because like whenever a character dies, look, we cared about Pedro. Luffy fought Kaido and said, "This one's for you, Pedro." I don't feel like Luffy's saying this one's for you, Vegapunk, at any point based off of like any of the like
No, I
part.
feel like Bonnie's the only person who'd say that. Or maybe like Sentomaru or Kizaru.
And that's weird because to me, like, and this is like the hardest copium I think. I don't even think anyone has ever even said this, and it started from last chapter, but I didn't even say this. I was like, is there a world where this is all holograms? Like, is there a world where this is like Vegapunk and they're acting like Bonnie doesn't know, but everyone else like is in on it, and they know that this is a hologram. But then they have the heart radar thing, like the hearts
No, I
meter.
don't think this is a hologram.
And
Nah.
the reason why I was saying the hologram thing is like maybe Stella did die, but maybe like Shaka's out here and he has like the hologram. Like he's like Lelouch and he has like the Gias and like a hologram setup and like we're all just playing on Shaka's like I don't know. I don't know. But then
Oh, they pull a Twilight where it's like none of this is real.
well, I don't watch Twilight, but is that
Damn.
what happened in Twilight? Spoilers.
Well, I mean,
No.
yeah, spoiler for like an old movie, but yeah. During the final war in Twilight, they go through the whole battle. You see people die, and then we come back, and then it was all just future sighted, and then both sides just look at each other, and they're like, "Oh, there would be too many casualties. This person would die. I would die. Yeah, let's just not fight today." And then they just call off the war because both sides like future sighted it. Like, I thought that'd be like, imagine that for One Piece. Like Shanks and another high tier like Mihawk character comes in, they like pick up their sword and they're like, so that's the outcome, huh? And then they just leave. That'd be kind of cool.
That would be kind of cool, but in like a compartmentalized way. What you just described, you said the entire. That's like so wait, what book was this? Was this like at
It
the
was the
third
final
book?
book.
So like okay, final book, like book 6 out of 7 or something like that, like or
Something like
7 out of
that.
7, 7 out of 7. So like something like that, right? Was the entire last book like majority about this last
No,
war?
no, just like the battle part.
So like half the book or like a quarter of the book or
I'd say like a quarter.
that okay, that's not as bad. I was imagining like half the
Yeah.
book is the war,
No,
and
no,
then they
no,
hit you
no.
with the
Like
okay, okay.
it would be like I guess if we're comparing this to One Piece, it would be like the minute they start the Buster Call to like, the end.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, like the Future Sight one is crazy, but like I was just thinking, like, man, like the way Vegapunk's being treated, like maybe they're in on something. Sanji and Luffy are like the way they're treating him, it's like this is a dummy, you know what I mean? Like it's like a mannequin, you know what I mean? And like they're like, oh shit, we gotta get this out of here, but they're like selling it, but they're not selling it. And like the copium could go as far as like maybe even like Kizaru doesn't know, but he figured out halfway through or something. But that was where last week. I'm saying last week. Last week I was thinking like maybe there's a world or whenever Vegapunk got stabbed, and then like we. Oh yeah, it was when like Bonnie started doing like the chest compressions on his ass, and I'm like, what? What are we doing? We want him to
It's
die?
so interesting because it's like I feel like he actually is. I mean, obviously, I think he is dead.
Yeah.
But like, I get what you mean. Like, you want there to be a way for like him to survive because he is supposed to be the world's smartest man. And
Well, that's
also,
not.
like,
Sorry, continue.
no, go ahead. I was just gonna say like,
no,
no, go ahead. You got this. You got this.
it wasn't necessarily the world's smartest man part. It's that we don't have any understanding about the Vegapunk parts, the Punk Records, his power, because he dies. Okay, doesn't that mean Punk Records is down? Like his Devil Fruit passes on, so then can they still access it? Like how does the satellites work? I'm assuming they're separate at this point because like if he dies, they wouldn't all die. That makes the most sense. But so then if they are clones of him or in some regard and they can access his brain still, then isn't Vegapunk still alive? Like it is a little interesting because like Shaka still put the importance on like protecting the Stella. He's the most important one. But then you have this nuance of like but they're still there, so like maybe they have a fail safe, like I don't know, it is weird. And we do have in Egghead multiple ways body doubles, holograms, like there are like the man recreated devil fruits, you know what I mean? Like
What
I
if?
wouldn't put it past it. It's weird because I don't believe in
Yeah.
Vegapunk, but the weird
Hmm.
treatment, it's almost eerie, right? Like it's weird that we're laughing about the way Vegapunk's being treated, but I don't know if that's the way
I don't know
this
if it's
world wants.
weird. I think it's just goofy. But
Yeah, goofy.
I
But
I I,
like
I think. Yeah, no, I'm kind of with you. Like, I feel like there could be a scenario where there is another Vegapunk, like another Stella body. Like maybe it's like a Dr. Gero and Android 13 thing where, Android 13 kind of looks like a young Dr. Gero. Maybe now that Stella is dead, maybe there's like a younger version of him that just pops out of a test tube or something.
yeah,
I don't know.
if this message was linked to a heart monitor, who knows what else gets triggered by that? You know what I mean? Like maybe
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
other
like
things
another
that,
test tube.
Yeah, so like I'm not like my stocks aren't there, but like I just like I'm looking at the situation and I'm kind of like, why was it that like Vegapunk is one of the most important characters of the series. I don't think anybody can disagree with that. But when he gives his truth out, very important. But like from Shaka's death to this death, something feels odd. You know what I mean? Something
Not
is
a, I don't know if it would be odd. I think it's just like the stakes aren't there because there's so many of him.
well,
Like like even
yes,
with
but
Vegapunk dying, like we still have 4 other satellites just roaming around. So
so
he is
yes,
dead, but he's not dead.
but then they also bring on before Shaka's death, like, hey, we grow organs, we can recreate Atlas, like the satellite. Like, we don't even know how many of the satellites they can recreate, but they give
Yeah.
us this like they can revive. Like, I don't know, but Shaka didn't come back, so it's like, is he dead? We don't even know. Like,
I
we
mean,
don't
we could
like,
probably bring him back if we really wanted to. It's only been a day.
and Alice came back in like 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like she literally got downed by Lucci, and then they brought her ass up, and then like maybe by the end of the next chapter, she was back. You know what I mean? She was with
Yeah.
the Straw Hats, and it's like if that's that quick, Shaka, why have they had an entire day? We were talking about the prep time, right? But at that time, we accepted Shaka being dead. But
What if
like
Shaka is still alive and Vegapunk takes over that body? Like you never know. Like I
that's
mean,
what I'm saying.
I
Yeah.
don't think it's eerie though. I mean, I
What
feel
I'm
like
saying
just
is eerie
for
is that like I feel like
yeah
the same take is that Vegapunk is dead and we're done with it, right? But
yeah.
what I'm saying is eerie is that like I feel like a lot of Vegapunk's handling, that goofy stuff that you're talking about, it gets chain linked so much that it makes the way from when Vegapunk first got stabbed to now a little eerie. Where I'm still holding on to like, is he not dead? And again, I'm the one who's responding to people like, no, he's dead. Like this thing that you see right here, that thing is dead. 100% that thing is dead. That thing's not coming back to
But he
life.
could come
Whatever.
back to life in a different body.
Yeah, like and
Yeah.
a lot of people were shouting to the roof. I saw a bunch of people chanting. I mean, don't fact check me on this, but they were like, recycle Kerr, recycle Kerr. They were out up in arms. I'm like, yeah, let's go. You know, I'm not the one saying it. It was them. I
He could
didn't
even
say
be
it on the
living through
live
like a
stream.
hologram. He could be just up in Punk Records as an AI. Like imagine you log into your computer and you see Vegapunk, right?
Yeah, I mean
That could be another possibility too.
the trope is like the smart people turn themselves into computers, like
Like
Karen in
Lucy.
Plankton, Lucy, yeah, technically. And then there was another good one, but oh, and Marvel, the I forgot what
Who?
their organization was called. There was the World War II. What was the evil, like the Nazi group that they used
Hydra?
in Hydra? Yeah, the Hydra scientist that
Mm.
used to think he turned himself into a computer in the US. But so like
Yeah, I could see
similar,
Dr. Vegapunk living as a computer from here on out. Or even just
and
creating a new body like Ultron. I don't know.
yeah, and that might be like, so you remember when I said like maybe Sanji's in on it, like maybe he's not, but like that's probably why Vegapunk said to just leave me, because it's like he had a whole plan for it, right? And that goes back to what Shaka said. He said like, I can predict my death, right? And that is the weird part. Also, we don't have the like follow through on that statement. I don't know how you feel about Dragon coming through, but as far as that conversation, it feels like, hey, I'm dying. What's the point of me telling you? Can you prevent it? Probably not. That's why I'm calling you, because I know I'm going to die. I'm predicting my death. Now, here's what happens after my death, right? And so he might have told Dragon, like, hey, I'm going to release this stuff. I'm going to release the truth. But he might have told him a bunch of other plans that he has to, like, whatever Dragon has to, like, prepare for or whatever, right? That's all separate. But the part that I'm interested about is that he said, like, I've already made my bed. I already made my bed. That also substantiates the part that he might have had a full plan on top of this pre-recorded message here that could lend itself to a bunch, like you said, in a computer, hologram, another body, Shaka, whatever it is. It might be that, and maybe he's like, I made my bed and I'm like the island now. Maybe he becomes the island. You know what I mean? If his brain is on top of the island, maybe he becomes the island. Maybe he becomes like Avalo Pizarro. I don't know. Like it's kind of weird.
Yeah. Vegapunk is just one of those characters where like yes, this body is definitely dead, but it's like you said, like he can become any, like if he were to come back next chapter or 50 chapters down the line, it wouldn't be super shocking because
Yeah.
he could just say, yeah, I'm the smartest man, I saw it coming, here. I'm alive again. It's like, okay, cool.
Here's a oh
What's
wow,
up?
this could be, huh? Because I know you and I both essentially agree on the truth. What truth is going to come out? It's largely going to be Ohara
Yeah,
eccentric.
ancient kingdom
That's what it is.
stuff.
And there is room for devil fruits. There's room for other things, but I feel like both of us are kind of like the central point is here. And if we get more, we get more. But it might be just one. It might be another thing. It might not be all of these things that we get from him, like Void Century, Emu stuff. I know some people are throwing that out there, but Punk Records is this is like what he wanted to create a sea of information, right? Like the truth about the world is like he didn't get to a point where he can complete that, but there is this nuance that we're talking about. If Vegapunk dies but doesn't die, right? Isn't that kind of like the Willa D, like the will not passing away and not dying, and like maybe like when Roger died, well, before he died, he just said like I'm not going to die, right? Like I'm not gonna die. He told that to Rayleigh. And maybe there is like a nuance to like people don't die, their wills get portrayed on, but like the world government, everyone thinks like you die, right? Vegapunk goes like, no, that's not how it works in the world. The truth is we don't die. We go into this other thing, and I am now in like the
I am
afterworld.
become the life stream.
Yeah, like, and he like basically proves the afterworld. And the reason why that's significant is because chapter 1073, the weight of memory, where he talks about how after you die you lose 21 grams. So he could substantiate like you don't die after like death. Well, you die, but you don't like disappear. You're 21 grams, and he tells you the truth. And that could be really problematic for the world government, because then they don't want people's wills, like the Zoan stuff, like whatever devil fruit things happen. Like if people figure that out, that might be a problem. So
Oh yeah.
maybe he does something like that
No
in his
matter
line.
no matter what Vegapunk says here at the very end, I doubt the world government's gonna like it. Like this is not gonna be a good day for the
Yeah,
world
yeah, yeah.
government.
Yeah, for sure.
I
No,
wouldn't
but
be surprised if more countries end up joining Dragon because of this too.
true. It might embolden, because the other thing is like people. So Anel, for example, I think Oda used Anel in a lot of ways to like not test like a predecessor god, like a power tripping, and he says like fear is God. That's what his line is. But then later he substantiates it. And the reason why fear is God is because humans fear death. That's why they bend their knee instead of facing death. They'd rather live subjugated. And I'm paraphrasing whatever he said. I think it's like chapter 295 or something like that. Or yeah, 29, no, not 295, 275, around there. He says that. And so if Vegapunk removes the fear of death, that would be insane, because then yeah, like you said, the revs super emboldened, right? The reason why all these countries are afraid of doing whatever, it's because like, yo, I don't want to die, but it's like, hey, King Taco said it best, it's better to die standing than live on your knees, or whatever. That's, yes, quote from King Taco in One
Good
Piece.
old King Taco.
Yeah. So like you said, like anything that he says is not going to be great. But now here's going back to what we said before. Does Saturn even hear it? Like all the other
Yeah, is
Gorosei probably
Saturn
hear it.
comprehending what's going on?
All the other Gorosei are going to be watching the videos and then seeing their homie like fucking ball out. Like I don't even know what this would be called. Like he's on
Like,
bath salts right now.
yeah,
He's
like
Florida
even when
man.
Luffy grabs him, like Saturn doesn't have a reaction. It's the same eyes we've been seeing, he's just looking through Luffy.
It looks like Oda drew it like he drew Saturn first, and then he drew his hand around Saturn. Like Saturn's so unperturbed about like being palmed like that, that he's just like he's literally a
Yeah.
mindless beast.
So what is your prediction for what's going on with Saturn? Because I know we kind of like jumped around it a little bit, but like, what do you think is happening with him? Like, if you had to like take your stab, because
Impel down.
impel down,
Time.
like an impel
So,
down, like
so
he's an awakened Zoan, he's just going crazy.
yeah, I think there's two nuances. One is a crack theory, and one of them is kind of solidifying something. So I remember before I was, on the fence of if he had a devil fruit or not. Maybe it's not. And I know a lot of people, not a lot of people, but there are various theories about this not being a devil fruit and him actually being the Ushi Oni. But now I feel like no, I think this would be an actual devil fruit because if he were the actual Ushi Oni, why would he have like a mindless? Unless it's like there are theories that he is the Ushi Oni and he ate like a human fruit, which is like I guess it could be that way, but like I'm more inclined the opposite. I don't know necessarily, but I do feel like yeah, a devil fruit is involved. Um, and if it is involved, then yes, impel down is the way I go because like I did a theory a long time ago on the ringed eye stuff. That was like one of my first videos, and I've updated it like 3 times. That's I know that Luffy doesn't have the double layered eyes, but that's how I on Brago invited me on the thing right before Luffy got revealed, Gear 5, and I said he's gonna have a ring die, and that was because I was analyzing the eye patterns that Oda was doing, and something I brought up was like the no will idea, like when you like lose your will and it becomes like a dot, like the impel down things, and that's what we're seeing here. And Sanji also emphasizes like that, yo, there's something up with the eye, there's something crazy happening, and it's injunction on later on with Luffy's thing. So I feel like the impel down route, not Oda, Vegapunk also mentioned like he didn't say the impel down jailer be specifically, but he alluded to that like hey, like Zoans can't or the awakening is very difficult. You can lose your mind, and we've seen them. Crocodile also kind of gave it to us like it was common day information. Just want to point that out there because Crocodile's the one who told us about awakened Zoans back in pre-time skip. Just throwing that out there. Now, when you look at like this eye situation with Saturn, the mindless lobotomized thing, yeah, like it almost implies that like Luffy can go into a berserk Nika state where he just isn't like he's just laughing and he can't say anything. But the other interesting, I guess, route that I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I like it, but I had this weird idea, right? A long time ago, probably towards the beginning of Egghead. We never talked about it. I never shared with it to you because it's so weird. But you remember on any lobby, Funkfried. Funkfried is Spandam's sword that we come to at the end of Water 7, Annie's lobby. Kobe says Vegapunk is the one who's learned how to put devil fruits into inanimate objects. The one that would make the most sense that he's referring to is Funkfried because that's what Spandam has. Spandam is a cipher pull agent who has probably connections to Vegapunk, given Spandam was talking to the Gorosei directly. And so Spandam got Funkfried from, let's just do the logical leap of Vegapunk. I can't fathom another scientist doing what Vegapunk is doing either. But also in that arc, he came up with 2 devil fruits, Kaku's and Khalifa's. And he was asked, like, how did you get them? They're so rare. And at that point, it's like, yeah, devil fruits are rare. How did you get them? He's like, don't worry about it. I have my connections. And I wondered, like, maybe that connection was Vegapunk. Like, he got those fruits from Vegapunk. And those are fruits from Vegapunk's, like, Punk Hazard time when he was, like, doing Kaido's fruit and stuff. And he was doing other zones. Because, like, going straight from zero to mythical zone, he was talking about it. He's done zones and stuff like that. Logias are hard. So it makes sense if he had other ones. He did Paramecias, and maybe he succeeded with Khalifa's. But so I was thinking, like, what if Kaku's fruit was an artificial fruit, and we don't know about Lucci's fruit, but if he's in Cypher Pull and he was an orphan from like the get-go, then maybe he also has a thing. So then maybe the black cloak is not a natural devil fruit awakening, it's an artificial devil fruit awakening rather than like if the law kid whatever, like I mean I know they're not zoans, but there are natural devil fruits and they naturally awaken,
Yeah.
whereas the black cloak might indicate, yo, these are not like the original devil fruits, these are, I don't know, like maybe Vegapunk made something and it was similar to something that the Gorosei had. I don't know. I've been thinking about that, but maybe that's what we're dealing with here. It's a
Mm,
weird one though. It is that one's the crack one where I'm like, I've been sitting on that for like how long has Egghead been going for?
while.
Yeah, when Lucci showed the thing, talk about artificial stuff. I was that back then, but like I don't know about that one. It's a weird one because the
Yeah.
Gorse having it is the breaker for me. But now that we see this form, I don't know. It's weird. It is weird. But this wouldn't be real quick before I
What's up?
so you can go on. Was his previous form his hybrid form? And if yes, what is this? Is this his hybrid form?
I'd say this is like his Zoan form.
His full zone?
Yeah.
But
If I
that's
had to
weird
take a
too,
guess,
because when Lucci goes full, he turns into an actual jaguar, right?
yeah.
So I guess this could be the full Ushioni. Hmm. Hmm. It's interesting. When Lucci was in jaguar or leopard form, did he talk?
I believe he did.
Pell did, right? Did Pell ever talk in a bird form?
I don't recall.
Hmm.
I never like paid
Hmm.
attention to if they talk or not during their full Zoan form.
Yeah. I guess oh, Dalton. Dalton had a full transformation. Hmm. It's interesting. It
I
is
like how you
interesting.
it's like your catchphrase.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Minecraft
Hmm.
NPC.
Wait, Minecraft NPCs make noises?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah. They just make the same noise over and over.
Wait, do most streamers mute it?
No.
Oh. I mean, I haven't watched, so I just didn't know
Yeah.
it was a thing.
I just
Huh.
played Minecraft recently,
Interesting. Where
downloading
are
all the
you at with
monster
the
mods.
where are you at with the Saturn spot though? More
Um,
questions or things answered?
More questions. I'm still curious about like how his regeneration works. I feel like he's just a mystery right now. I feel like a lot of things can happen. It could be daydreaming. He could be using his imagination with his wiggly spider legs. This
Mhm.
could be an emu power. Could be a demon circle. Like I'm not really closing off anything.
You on stream you brought up the emu thing. Could you explain that more? Like what how do you, because I think a lot of people have said it, but like they've all had different ways it went down. I want to
Yeah,
hear your
I
version.
think it's a silly idea, but I think it's kind of cool. Where
Mhm.
maybe emu like took over Saturn's body.
Like, but like, is it like, is that like a devil fruit, or like is emu using like Wi-Fi hockey, like, or a summoning circle? Like, how's it? How do
PS5
you
controller. It's dual sense.
PS5 controller? So like the Titan sub.
Yeah. He's using a dual sense controller. He just took over.
Hmm. So okay, then here's my question then.
That's not where I put like all my stocks, but it's just an idea that I think is really fun to play with.
So in my original double layered eye theory, I proposed the idea that emu could be capable of being a puppet master, like tapping in to someone's brain. And so like the double layered eye is significant, that like they're actively like in the world, and they're like in someone's body right now, and they're controlling them. And so like that was in play. Like I was thinking, like, what if emu had some kind of like what a Doflamingo would do, but like a different version of it. Like Doflamingo is controlling King Riku, but like emu would be able to just like lock into someone's brain and just control them. And so that, I guess my question there would be that, can emu only do this to the Gorosei or all the Celestial Dragons, or emu can do this to other people? It's just not as useful. How far would that power go? Because that's my question when people bring it up. It's like emu is controlling him at a distance. Like, okay, so then why doesn't emu just control like other people too? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so in this hypothetical, I would say that emu can only control the Gorosei.
Only the Gorosei, so not Celestial Dragons,
No,
not like the Garling.
nah. Unless it
Ah.
is like maybe it is like a Yuhawaha thing from Bleach where he is the originator of the celestial dragon, so
Mhm.
like they all just revert back, like convert back to him, which would be kind of cool. But I don't know. I feel like I'd probably just keep it contained to the Gorosei, just to make it easier to explain.
Okay, and then in your hypothetical, is emu all like not omniscient, but like is emu always like watching through the Gorosei? Like anything that the Gorosei experience, does emu already know?
Sure.
Like a cracked version of Punk Records, right? Punk Records is like
Yeah.
one big punk experiences, but they have to upload, download, right? In emu's this one, emu's just always watching. So Emu watched Saturn get mollywopped like 15 times over, and then it's like, give me the control
Yeah,
remote.
I mean, in this headcanon, yeah, sure, that's what I would say. He like witnessed everything.
Separately, when Kizaru and Saturn had the lineup, like Kizaru and I will deal with it. Do you think Kizaru knows about like the top tier like power that is Kizaru aware of this kind of thing? Do you think he's fully aware of what the Gorosei are capable of?
I don't know if he's fully aware, but he wasn't super shocked whenever Vega, like whenever he showed up, right? Like he was
That's
shocked at first because like he sensed the presence, but after that he was like, yeah, I'm just working alongside him. I guess Sanji's the same way. Like it's Sanji's first time seeing like Sun God Nika and fighting with him,
Mhm.
and Sanji's not like Luffy. What the hell is this?
I mean, to be fair, Sabo saw it all, and he was just like these hellish creatures, right? He had like a he wasn't
Yeah,
terrified. He was like, that's ironic. Like, the world the world's controlled by these demons. What the fuck? Like that's what his reaction was. So it's like that's why I'm a little interested because we don't know. It feels like it almost feels like it's common knowledge in the Marines that the Gorosei have powers and they could do this. Like the Marines knew that, like, hey, like, look, and they did the announcement, but whatever. But then, like, is that the first time they heard that, or is this like a protocol that they know? Because someone else announced it wasn't Saint Saturn saying, "Don't look at me, I will blast." No, someone on the ship said, "Alert,
yeah, it's in
alert."
like the manual books.
Yeah, and the reason why I'm saying that is because like I I mean, we were already doing this when Kizaru and Saturn were on the ship, and Kizaru was like feeding him crumpets, right? And like the question was like, is Kizaru that much weaker that he has to feed them, right? And like obviously at this point it doesn't feel like that, but like I sit back and I think like Akainu, when Akainu goes to the Gorosei meeting, is he like, does he look at the five of them? He's like, I can't take that.
I don't know because like Akainu has been really rude to the Gorosei.
Yeah.
So I'm not too sure where he falls in it, but I mean, based on what we've seen, I would put Akainu higher than Saturn. That's for sure.
But when I'm asking, less so like power scaling is more so
Yeah.
like Akainu's awareness of like if he's higher than them. Does he
Mm.
know like that this form exists? Does he know how to fight it? Like, you know what I mean?
No,
We don't know
I
how
feel
to.
like they don't know. I mean, they might have heard stories, but that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's like a detailed YouTube video going on about like how these forms work and what they look like that they show to the Marines. I feel like it's all just like word of mouth or maybe like I heard in a storybook this is what they can do.
Perfect. Okay, okay. See, this is what I want to, because this is like some future stuff, but like in these trope, right? Like when Luffy went to Marineford and he got destroyed, right? He couldn't handle anything.
Yeah.
Rayleigh comes, swims over, and he's like, "I'll teach you the way of the world," right? And then he teaches him how to deal with the things that Luffy couldn't see or understand, and it was hockey, right? And that was our expert that taught Luffy how to deal with the rest of the world and what the rest of the world was using. And I feel like that is a trope when it's like when we get like a new power or like another subset of people, there's somehow we learn about that power, and I'm kind of confused at how we learn about how to beat these guys. Like, is it like from a celestial dragon? Is it from like a traitor? I know some people
It
think
could
that
be
there
from the
might be
Giants.
the giants. Okay, okay, okay. That is. Oh
It's like how we went
man,
to Wano when we learned about Ryuo. Maybe the Giants have something to hurt Saturn.
like they enchanted weapons.
Yeah, like runes, magic runes.
All
They have
right. See, that's
materia in their blades.
that's where okay, we're on the same page then because that's what it feels like Elbaf would be about, but it's like because then that means that there are existential crises for Saturn running up on him right now. If they actually know how to beat him and they're running at him and he's just blinders on, blindly fighting, do you double down Saturn dying by the end of Egghead?
I
Or he pulls out more. He goes next level.
I think we defeat Saturn, but I don't think he dies.
Mm, okay.
I don't think he dies yet.
Hmm.
It's like
It's
Kizaru. Like I don't think Kizaru is going to die. I think they'll be defeated. I don't think they're going to die though.
yeah. the Giants should be able to see Luffy right now, right?
Yeah, I mean Luffy's huge. I mean, did you see him in that last couple of panels?
Yeah,
You
he's
see his
like
back, and he's
powering
he's like
everything.
massive, dude.
Yeah, big back. I mean, you see that straw hat, right?
Yeah, Straw Hat's small,
Yeah, tiny
small
straw
straw
hat.
hat.
Honestly, people are bringing up the marriage raw hat. I'm like, that hat is not gonna fit this either. Like, I don't think the marriage raw hat like scales up to this size.
I think it does.
You think it? Because Emu is standing right next to it. That would make Emu huge.
Maybe no. I think it could. I think it could.
Really?
Yeah,
I
I
feel
think it
like,
has a good chance.
hold on, let me think about this. Because Emu is really tall. We know that, right? I mean, some people think that Emu's really small.
Okay, how about this? How about this? Luffy has a better chance of fitting the Marie Joie hat than his current hat.
Oh, I mean, yeah, true,
Yeah.
obviously, yeah. Like,
I'm not, I'm
but I
not, I'm
don't
not,
know.
yeah, I'm not gonna like pixel scale how big the straw hat is at Marie Joie and be like, well, Luffy here can't wear that.
I mean, you don't need to. Twitter's already got that done, right?
Yeah, so
Somewhere. We're
I'm
not
not like
there.
looking super deep into that one. It's like, yeah, I could see a giant wearing that hat, sure.
So, so for clarifications though, so
Yeah.
we're kind of Luffy. Do you think that Luffy, by this panel, he can like solo Kizaru just 1v1?
Yeah, I've always thought that Luffy could solo
Mhm.
Kizaru. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like now Saturn's here in this form. Does is Luffy still on top? And the only separation is that we don't know how to hurt Saturn.
So funny enough, like coming into Egghead, I didn't think Luffy could 2v1. I was like, yeah, he's gonna have to 1v1 and then he might not have enough energy for Saturn. But seeing how he's handled everything so far, it's like, no, I think Luffy has this. As far as hurting Saturn because he does regenerate, it's like a problem, but it's not. Because at the end of the day, they still want to escape. Like even Sanji's like, hey, take Vegapunk and leave. Well, whatever. All the Straw Hats are gearing up to leave. Frankie like is about to board the giant ship. Like we don't have to beat Saturn, like kill him or anything. We just have to put him down for a little bit. And we've seen that once you put Saturn down, once you throw a couple of buildings his way, he's done for like half a chapter. He's like a regenerator from Dead Space. Like you just cut off the legs, cut off the arms. He'll be back in like 5 minutes, but like you have time to get away. Like I feel like that's all we really need. If the Giants show up and they know how to hurt him, or if Luffy figures that out, that's huge. But
Yeah.
I mean, Luffy could also just pummel him until he can't move for a while.
Yeah, because I'm like
That's kind of how I see it.
I feel like what you said earlier is probably the case where it's like it's weird because we saw how brutish the Brogy was with his axe, right? He just slammed down on this vice admiral, right? But like if they have something other than hockey, which isn't crazy anymore because there's magic circles, right? Runes, whatever, all that jazz. Like even let's say that they have runes. Let's say they have whatever thing, and like that is how they hurt Saturn. I still don't see Luffy being able to use any of that to in his fights. You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
Like if it's magic and like enchanting and or circles and or runes, Luffy's not using that in Gear 5 or any form. So it's like so then it's not like hockey anymore. You know what I mean? Hockey was something that like, hey, Rayleigh's like you have it. Everybody has it, you just gotta train it. This is gonna let you go into New World. It's a little different here if it is runes or magic that lets you hurt Saturn, because it's not like that's an arsenal that Luffy acquires. That's something that maybe Usopp gets. That's something that maybe even Frankie could maybe get, right? That's something that some other people, Nami has in East Blue alone, she was called witch so many times in by Zoro, by Arlong, so many times. But the point being is like that's where it's like going through the entire conversation again, it's like, yes, the Giants coming here, I feel like they will matter and they should be able to do something to Saturn, but the way they do it, I don't know if it's valuable to Luffy. And I'm like, can Luffy already do it? Can like Luffy already hurt Saturn? And if all of that's true, then going back to what we said earlier, Saturn's fear factor is like, it's I don't know where to place it, you know? Because we just discussed
Yeah.
like 90 different ways that he's like, you know, gets stun locked minimum.
Like, I feel like maybe next chapter, Dory and Broggy will come in. They hit Saturn, or they see Luffy hit Saturn. They see him regenerate, and they're like, oh, let's try this out instead. And they do some new attack. Maybe that's it.
What if it was okay? Hear me out. What if it's so dumb? It's just like fire.
That could be it. I mean, maybe there's something in the Ushi Oni lore, like, oh, he can only be hurt by people looking south, people looking east. And then Dragon shows up and then he beats Saturn. And then Saturn's like, not a guy that looks east.
It's south. It's south. I know it's south. If this is the meme, it's south. Why? South birds on Jaya. There are birds that always look south. You got to ask yourself why.
Wait, no, but what about west and north?
There were no west birds or north birds.
No, exactly. Like, maybe that's it. Maybe they got Lucia back in the past because they're like, oh, we can't let people know how to beat us.
But south birds, those shits, they're good. You know, like that's what they were thinking of. Yeah, here, like
it's like a gimmick fight. Like if you ever play like Elden Ring or anything, it's definitely a gimmick fight. I feel like
a raid, like a raid boss thing where you have to like hit them in the back of the left knee.
Yeah, I mean, this could even bring back the old theory that Saturn is still on the ship and this is just like a projection of some sort.
Yeah, that's what and not saying that this is similar to the Vegapunk thing where we're saying like he could be alive still and there's like 100 different ways. Like it's Vegapunk of all the characters to be able to do that. Sure, but it's also the Gorosei where it's like even right now we have no understanding. We don't even know what his eyes mean. Who knows what he's doing?
What if this isn't even like Saturn? Because he said he's a man of science. What if like this is just a clone of his, like his satellite?
Hey, if this is a like
the real Saturn's still at Marie Joie.
Yeah, like what if this is a hologram? Like a good, like a Void Sentry level hologram. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he can go tangible or whatever,
like,
and all that stuff. And then like Kizaru knows that. You know, like it is.
What if Luffy beats him, or what if like they throw him in the ocean, he can't get back up, and then we see a guy put down a PS5 controller, and then he's like, oh, sorry guys, I couldn't do it, and then the rest of the Gorosei are right behind him watching this little screen. It's like, we'll get him next time.
Not PS5 controller, arcade machine where he has to put in the quarter in.
Yeah,
do you want another? Like,
they're paying it with the heavenly tribute. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and then
quick, get the heavenly tribute. Let's go.
Saint Venus has to cut him off and be like, hey.
And the reason why it takes so long for him to regenerate and get back up is because he has like that continuous screen with the countdown of 20 seconds, and he's like, quick, give me another quarter, please, fast.
That low key
could be it.
Shit Oda would do, but not.
That'll be a little bit too silly for the Gorosei. Like, imagine we do get that they're all hunched over, and the reason why Saturn isn't talking is because he actually did pass the controller to somebody else. They locked in.
Yeah, like this meme theory.
Maybe that's it.
I'd expect the Vegapunk satellites, right? Like Atlas gets knocked out, gets booted back up to the labo phase, and she gets to put another quarter in to go back. And that's something I'd expect here, right? With all the retro gaming, all that stuff, but not the Gorosei, right? But at the end of the day, like I don't know, I just can't look at this panel and like I don't know what happens next chapter. Like it's weird.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting, but it's also like it's not exciting because like there's not that there's no anticipation. It's like I don't know what to anticipate. You know what I mean? Does he get, because like there's a whole realm where he just continues to get the same treatment he already has, where he gets dumpstered like every single time like the Giants come in.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, Saturn transforms and you're like, whoa, he's gonna put in work, and then Luffy dodges and Sanji leaves, and it's like, oh, okay.
And not just that, like this is one of the end stage villains. He transforms with off screen. He comes in, doesn't speak, uncharacteristic, and then also does the crazy Gomu like a new thing, and it's all fodderized. Luffy literally pulls out his own new move, and he's just like laughing around, and like Saturn.
And then he puts his hand on his face too. It's like, damn, dude, like. And Sanji dodges all of this too, right? Like Sanji doesn't get hit. He don't even mention like the whips or the anything else. It's like, damn, dude, like Saturn's kind of getting memed on.
Yeah, that it's such a weird spot to be in with this chapter for so many
I am excited for the next chapter. I do want to see if Saturn can actually do. I say that every week, but I want to see him do something. I want to see this man do something.
Yeah,
make Luffy sweat, right? Like please, maybe Saturn and Kizaru have like some combination attack, and Luffy's like, oh no, I have to dodge this one. That would be huge. I would want that.
Like
just something to bring back the not tension, but make me worry for a minute.
Yeah,
like get me on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, I think that like we were throwing on the tension, but like it's largely because like Luffy is just as like not fictional, but like fictional as Saturn in the scope of like we don't know what the hell's happening with Saturn. We sort of don't really know what's happening with Luffy. And like so when people say like it's too goofy, it's not serious, whatever, that's not even the case. It's just like we don't know Luffy's ceiling. Like if Kaido sees this, he's like, damn, how high can he go? And Luffy's in the five now, you know what I mean? And like it's like a there's so many levels to this, but this panel happening, right? And I saw like the Brago clip. Brago's like, this isn't a Yonko thing. This is like Luffy's like a main character. Like this shouldn't be something we expected. This is not like you can't say this is the Yonko tier. The Yonkos can all just palm the Gorosei and an admiral all at the same go. No, this is Luffy being Luffy, and I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't know how all the context Brago's saying on the stream, but at least that clip, I was like, yeah, that I agree with that. I wouldn't like we literally said like Shanks, and you said like Shanks only has one arm, so technically he can't even do this. But unless he has hockey arms and a Susanoo, right? Like Itachi. But as far as this goes, when Luffy was at Thriller Bark, right? Like Luffy goes like, "Hey guys, I have to be reckless now. Like I have to pull out everything." And he pulls out both Gear 2 and Gear 3 all together, and he says, I like he all like that was the first time he literally says like I don't even know if I can make it out alive before going to the fight, you know what I mean? Lucci is a bit different. He just kept fighting. With Moria he beat Oars, he did that. When Moria did the Asgard thing, Luffy goes like, hey guys, in order to get this done, I have to be reckless. And like that's like the weird thing was like we're worried about Luffy, you know? He had the
Yeah.
fall off of Gear 2 and Gear 3 in Junction after fighting everything. And it's like I don't even know what happens to Luffy when he gets out of Gear 5. He turns old and then comes back. What it huh? Like,
He eats some pizza and he's good.
which that is something he normally needs to do too. So I don't even know if that's a Gear 5 thing. He need to do that in Wano, he need to do that in Whole Cake Island. So like he needs to do that anyways. So Gear 5 turning old is just like sure. That's a, but then he's fine. In the Kaido fight, he literally like music. Do I hear? Is that the beat? You know what I mean? Like that's what he did, and he was fine, and he beat Kaido. So like that's where it's like a little weird here. With as far as like what happens next, because like Luffy's just dominating a little bit, you know?
Yeah, and then Dorian Broggy, Ancient Robot, like we're solid, dude.
Is there a
And
world?
it's kind of sad because I do want Kizaru and Saturn to put up a fight, you know, like I said, like I want to be like, whoa, like can we really overcome this instead of like we are actually just overwhelming them. Like it's kind of like yeah, we could just go to the next island, no biggie.
Is there a world? I think
What's up?
I never heard anyone talk about it like this. Everyone largely, at least us, we were talking like what other allies for the like Luffy, like the Revs, or who's the third party, and the only like antagonist is like Blackbeard. Is there a world where Saturn has backup beside like outside the Inu controlling him? Is there a world
I've
with
seen somebody saying that a Kainu could show up, and I think that'll be huge, but I don't know, like
a Kainu?
yeah,
Oh,
I guess
following Kuma.
maybe following Kuma, yeah, maybe.
Like he's like he doesn't have future sight. He has Mihawk vision, and he has tracked.
Or maybe
Kuma.
well, not even like Kuma, but like just coming to back up Kizaru even.
Oh yeah. Also, they probably announced that Kuma like landed on Egghead, so like maybe they made it back.
Yeah,
to
I don't know how he would make it here that quickly, but I don't know. Quackly, yeah. I mean, for Akainu though to show up here, things would be in their favor again. I don't know. Like I don't know what backup they could get here that would be like super substantial to where it'd be like, oh no, like we have to stay here and fight, and you know it's gonna be a big battle. Like it would just feel weird if they came here.
So
I feel
then
like we already have so much going on.
So like three options, right? Straw Hats lose, Saturn loses, or everything disperses. Which like side are you on more so?
I think things disperse. Like I said, I think we'll beat Saturn and Kizaru, but like I don't think we're gonna finish them off here. and I feel like we will just leave. It looks like we are just gearing up to get out of here.
Gearing up to get out of here. I like that. Gear 5 model, get out of here. Yeah, that it is. It's a we're in a interesting. I did both my catchphrases there. Yeah. How many more chapters?
How many chapters did we say last time? I think I said 5.
I don't remember what we said. Honestly.
So I have I think I said under 5 chapters left for Egghead Island. So with this being 1, I'd say 4 more. I don't know how I feel about that anymore, but yeah, 4. I think 4 chapters would be solid. I can't see us
11,
here on
12.
Egghead Island 10 chapters from now. Is something I do agree with still.
So this is probably the most important question of all of Egghead.
4 chapters minimum, 10 chapters maximum.
But like right now, there's a big question, and we would be remiss to like skip this. Is what's happening in chapter 1111? Is that
Zoro
ZKS?
versus Lucci? We're finally gonna see the end of that fight, maybe.
Just Lucci? You don't think it's ZKS where he pulls out the do-rag, he puts on the Kankasaki?
Like Zoro kills Saturn? No.
Yeah.
No.
Comes in. Huh.
I mean, I think Zoro could also cut Saturn. I mean, at this point, we could probably fight Saturn and get away pretty well. But yeah, I think Zoro's gonna beat Lucci, and then that's pretty much it. I think it'll look good for him. 1111 is like his number.
World where I've been playing with this idea. I don't know how valuable it is, but this is dispersal. It's dispersal, but like, like Shanks said, like he ended the war and he's been playing a dispersal role, but like now Garland, and now we have Holy Knights. Is there a world that the Holy Knights show up and that
would be cool? See, I think that would be really hype if the Holy Knights showed up, and then that's where I'd be like, yo, like maybe things aren't gonna go that smoothly now. Yeah, I think that would be big.
Because Holy Knights is a variable on their side that Oda just introduced, and they, as far as like, hey, like, listen, they have summoning circles now. I think
we talked about it before too, like how the Holy Knights are making their move and how they have no food. Maybe they come here for the food machine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right.
That was a long time ago.
That was like beginning of last year almost. Like whenever that when it was food plus the Sabo food reserve
flashback
thing. Yeah, so that's like 20 chapters ago. Yeah, so the Holy Knights coming here is an interesting perspective, because I'm like, do they play dispersal? Like, yeah, like maybe they do, because then do they continue fighting? But then, they would continue. Why would Luffy look at the Holy Knights and be like, yeah, I'm done? You know what I mean? Like,
maybe not them, but like maybe the Holy Knights come here and they're like, hey, Saturn, we have to protect you, so we're gonna pull you out.
True.
Like a boxing coach, right? He sees you're getting beat in the ring, and he's like, whoa, we'll fight another day. We're just gonna head home for now. This guy needs his treatments.
Yeah.
Biden needs his ice cream.
Holy Knights showing up would be like a cool thing, but as far as a probable thing, how probable do you think?
How probable?
Yeah, Holy Knights.
So I think how probable? It was a while ago that the Holy Knights actually started their move. So they are out there in the world right now. I think it's pretty high.
So
well, not high. Okay, I think there's like a 30% chance, which is better than nothing.
Right.
I think there's a 30% chance a Holy Knight shows up by the end of Egghead.
I think the biggest, it's the same thing with Dragon, where it's like we don't know how he would get here, if he would get here, but a lot of people had him high up on showing up. Right. It doesn't matter how he'd be able to do it. Right. At least on the world government side, at least on Gorse's side, they have the summoning circle. So with the Holy Knights, I would imagine like, hey, Vegapunk is doing a worldwide message. We gotta shut that down, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe this message is like the Gorosei don't necessarily know what's happening on Egghead, and now they know, like, hey, yo, Saturn might need assistance, and then they deploy the Holy Knights, and so maybe the Holy Knights get triggered by this message, and then they show up to clean up, And that's dependent again on the variables of how transportation works with their side. But listen, they showed up with summoning circles. I wouldn't put it past the other guys being able to do this something
Ooh,
similar.
you know, be really cool
What?
if when I don't know how long they're gonna fight, but imagine it gets dark outside, and then you see a bunch of bats fly by, and then they're all riding a
Ooh.
bat.
Yeah, yeah, I love that detail because a lot of people forget that the world government uses carrier bats to give warlord a summons. When you get your invitation as a warlord, there's a carrier bat. It's not the news coup. It's something completely separate. And I've been wondering where that bat thing comes from and who it's connected to. And the only connection we've had now is Stussy has bat wings, and I don't know where that leads us to. But it because she's a pre-world government mads project from what we can tell. um yeah, so it's all an odd shaped cookie right now, odd shaped egg. Damn.
Yeah, I don't know.
And the
But the
Iron
Holy
Giant,
Knights. Oh, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say the Iron Giant, if it were to be mobilized, Luffy's been in Gear 5 for mad long.
Yeah.
So okay,
Luffy
where's the
has been in
Giant?
Gear 5 for a long, long time. So I am leaning back on the notion that the giant is has no legs.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
What were
he's
you saying
capped.
about the Giants? Sorry, where before?
Or I was saying like the Holy Knights riding on bats would be super sick, like a bat out of hell, like the song.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I was gonna save this for a video, but I don't know when the video is gonna be. I don't even know what video it'd be. Maybe it's a short, but I don't make like manga exclusive shorts. So, um, a detail I noticed actually is that the Nefertari seems to the Nefertari connection to celestial dragons is deeper than we may think because they have the supersonic ducks. And Garland, and the wiki doesn't even necessarily like emphasize this, but Garland in God Valley was riding on like what looked like to be like a dinosaur lizard duck.
Yeah.
And so
I,
maybe all of the like celestial families get like families of birds to ride. I don't know, like
that'd be
velociraptors.
cool.
Yeah, so like maybe they do show up on birds.
I remember when we saw that, I headcaned it and said, "Hey, maybe he's riding an emu," and that's just a funny play.
Yeah, yeah.
All of
Hey,
emus' knights ride emus.
that would be shout outs to way back when I didn't know how TCB exactly worked and the scheduling worked, so I just like tried to predict when they drop, and I got it like right 3 times in a row, like within minutes of the drop. And then the next week I was 8 hours off and I did a stream on like just random, and I said to my streamer like, "Hey, I'm just gonna keep streaming until the chapter drops," and it was 8 hours later. And so I had a stream about Australia and saying that Australia is a One Piece island and that Emu is Emu, and that's like where the One Piece stuff ends. Let's laugh tail. And then it cultivated to chapter 2. Chapter 2 substantiates it that Emu is an emu because chapter two's cover story has emus on it.
You know, emus are so interesting because there's like the whole emu war in Australia, and they won.
Yep.
Maybe that's just the Void Century.
That's you just saw like
Yeah.
a third of my Australia stream.
The
It's still
the
talked about in my community.
oh yeah, the emu war is huge. Dude, that used to be a big like meme back in the day.
Yeah, the kangaroo, emu. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Australia lost that war, man. I think there's only like one soldier that was deployed.
No, well,
No.
their general
George Pierce.
their what's it called? Their chief general guy, he mobilized artillery against them. So cannons,
Yes.
guns.
Defense Minister Sir George Pierce. I'm looking at it
Yeah.
right now.
So they used weaponry and lost. And then
Yeah, I
instead
think
their
they said it
solution
took
was
like
to build
I think
defense.
it said like maybe 10 to 60 bullets to kill one emu.
Oh, I have no
It was
idea.
something ridiculous.
Yeah, because emus are just velociraptors.
Yeah, these emus are strong, man.
Yeah, yeah.
So they only
And
killed 986 emus that have been confirmed. And it had a very minimal impact on the emu population.
And this can all tie back. I think we'll be touching all.
We
scope
gotta
of the
go,
community.
is what Par's trying to say.
No, well, I was gonna say that all leads us to the most cracked theory about the most cracked thing on Egghead, which is the cracked egg that probably housed a giant bird, right? And so, is there a world, Sai, where a giant bird monster comes down and breathes fire, and we found out Uranus is just this giant chicken monster?
I mean, yeah, that's been like a theory.
Yeah, I know, but like, do you? I mean, like,
Oh, do I believe it?
well, at this point in the story,
Yeah, I still believe it.
you still believe it. Like the possibility, like 0.05%,
Oh, that
maybe
that
less.
that Uranus is like a giant bird.
No, that like that this. Well, yeah, that, but like this egg was Uranus and like or
Oh, like
a
Egghead
giant
was
bird.
Uranus.
Yeah, and or a giant bird that's going to intervene on Egghead.
Oh, no.
No, yeah. Wait, don't we see Egghead before in the Kuma flashback and doesn't have an egg? They're gonna call me.
Yes. I don't remember now.
In the Kuma flashback, yeah, I'm pretty sure we saw that Egghead Island
The
and it didn't
Life
have an
of
egg.
Kuma. Or was it what chapter was it? Thank you, Bonnie.
Thank you,
Yeah, it's Thank
Bonnie.
you, Bonnie. Doesn't look like there's an egg there yet.
So how many years ago was that?
Don't really know.
So I mean, reasonably, then does that mean that this egg is like Onigashima, where it's not actually a skull, it's a castle that Kaido had commissioned by the guy,
Could be. Maybe
right? Isn't
Vegapunk
that
just really like eggs. You know, he's like,
yeah,
hey, I'm gonna get this I'm gonna get this egg commissioned.
yeah,
But what if
yeah.
the egg is like the optimal shape out there?
Hey,
You never know. It's
God made
meta.
eggs for a reason.